Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
Douglas, me boy.
Good morning.
Good to see you, pal. Good morning. First sip of the hooch of the day. That's not your first cigarette. How many cigarettes have you had so far?
To the point where I go, maybe I should have brought 2 packs.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, Doug Stanhope just found out today that he has had COVID.
Just moments ago.
You didn't even
do the
know you had
regular
it.
COVID test before you do the show. And she
Yeah.
goes, have you had the antibody one? And I said, no, because I always feel like I have COVID.
They do say, and I read this,
I
that
wake up
people who smoke
coughing.
cigarettes, for some reason, were like getting it less.
Yeah, I read a lot of those, and then I saw a lot that disputed that, so
Yeah.
I didn't read the ones I didn't want to hear that news, and I read the ones that say, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like how I digest news.
But they also say if you do get it, you're more likely to wind up on a fucking respirator, which I'm going to wind up on a respirator at this rate regardless. I don't mind if I fast forward the process.
We got to fill you up with stem cells, get you in a hyperbaric chamber, reverse the process. Just clean you up. Clean you up.
From
Nothing
40
like-
years of smoking?
Bison meat, spring water. We got you. Don't worry. Just put yourself in Dr. Rogan's care. We're going to take care of you as I puff on this joint.
I did. So I go to Kill Tony last night, and I'm up on the judge's stand, whatever you call it, and I'm pretty pickled by then. 'Cause we started with margaritas at 1:30, and now it's 9 o'clock. And so after the show, some guy tries to give him a bag of edibles, and he goes, "No, thanks, though." And I go, "No, you always take the drugs, even if you don't want them, and then you give them to someone else." At the thing and go, "Hey, I can't fly with this."
Right.
And then you made 2 people really happy. One guy's happy that you took his drugs, and the other guy's really happy. So I go, "What are they?" And he said 50 milligrams. And I split it. I go, I took half because I'm a 10 milligram guy. I'm tripping my balls off on 10.
Really?
Yeah. And then I gave Tony the other half, and he goes, "No, I don't do weed." And I go, fuck it. So I took 50 milligrams, and I was drinking enough. I drunk enough that I kept forgetting that I was super fucking high. I thought I was just too drunk to be in the bar, and then I got back to the room, and I'm digging through my bag trying to find any leftover bag of fucking airplane peanuts I might have left behind because I'm too high to be in public and go buy something to eat, and there's nothing in the hotel open, and I'm just eating fucking gummy bears and salty snack fucking mix. And
That's one thing I don't get for whatever weird reason. I don't get munchies when I'm high.
all right.
I don't know why. It's never been a thing.
Sometimes I will only eat if I take edibles now.
Really?
I think I get 85% of my calories from liquid booze.
How much edibles are you taking these days? Because you were always like a non-weed guy.
Yeah, but they made edibles delicious. I always hated like just the taste of smoking. It would make me cough. Like I was one of those guys
Right.
that coughs on the first puff, and then I'm coughing for an hour, and then the yuck mouth I got would ruin the taste of cigarettes.
Right.
I'm like,
right,
I like
right.
cigarettes more than being high, but edibles is a whole different story.
Yeah, I love edibles. I love like gummies. I love those little gummies because you take them and it's about an hour in, they start to like creep into your system, and then an hour and a half in, you're like, oh Jesus. Yeah, I love them.
And sometimes for me, it'll be 3 hours. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's 20 minutes.
It's a totally different drug, than
Yeah.
THC. It's
Yeah, you-
11-hydroxy metabolite is what it is.
And did you say it fucks with your liver more?
No, it goes through your liver. It doesn't fuck with your liver. It's not
Oh, good.
toxic, but it's called the one pass is what happens when it goes through the liver and it produces this metabolite. But it's 5 times more psychoactive than THC. So if you have like a equivalent amount, like I've given people edibles before and they're like, dude, this is laced. I'm like, no, that's what happens.
Yeah,
This is the good stuff.
I haven't done mushrooms in years, but this gives me the same feeling as a good, easy mushroom trip.
Yes. Yeah.
It's the-
Yeah. I feel the same way. Yeah. Like a light, like microdose mushroom trip is nice, man. When I was getting canceled, that's what I kept doing. I just kept doing mushrooms. I did mushrooms every day. I did them every day. And I was just thinking about everything but all the bullshit that was going on social media and CNN and all that stuff. All I was thinking about was just like
it's
the
so
universe.
nice to get away from that.
Oh,
Just
my God.
Don't watch, don't know, don't care.
I just inhaled a piece of marijuana. Ugh. That's what happens when you. Blah. So apparently abortion's illegal again, right? What happened?
What, here?
Did you hear what happened? Not
No.
just here. No, there's a a leaked memo apparently. Someone leaked something that says that they're going to overturn Roe v. Wade. I don't know if it's real. Everyone's already commenting on it as if it is real. I don't know if it is real. But apparently what that means is that it's going to be up to the states. So people who live in states where abortion is already, like blue states, I don't think they have a worry. But other states probably do. It's kind of...
Hey, medical tourism.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. It's fucking weird, man. It's weird. People telling other people what they can and can't do with their body is weird because, Texas has a weird law. No, I shouldn't say a weird law. A terrible law where it's 6 weeks. Who the fuck knows they're pregnant at 6 weeks? You just missed your period. Like people
I just
miss
found out I had COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
Could have been a baby ago.
And girls who have irregular periods, that happens all the time. I think. I don't know. I don't have a vagina. But that's what I hear. I hear it happens all the time. And so for the longest time, people have dealt with that and just sort of live their life and take a pregnancy test. And now you find out that you're pregnant. You literally have like a fucking week to find a place, get an abortion. If you want to get an abortion, make a decision. You have to make a decision, But the thing that I'm thinking of is people that have, if something happens to you, what if you get raped? What if anything like that? Or what if, some, a family member molests someone?
I used to have a bit about it, but it's a talking point. How should it be okay in cases of rape? That's like saying a fetus is a living thing unless his dad was an asshole.
Right.
How's it the baby's fault his dad was a rapist?
Right. How is it the baby's fault that... But what if it's your father or something fucking crazy sick?
Yeah.
It's just... I just don't like... I don't like people telling other people what they can and can't do, but it gets weird when the baby gets 6 months old. It gets weird when they're really, really pregnant because in some states, for the longest, I don't know what the rules are now, but I know that some states had late-term abortions, and sometimes you need one for medical reasons, right? Like the woman could die if she gives birth. It's a decision that people have to make.
Well, if you look back, what was your favorite part of being a fetus?
Well, what was your favorite part of being 3? Should I be able to shoot you at 3 because I don't want to take care of you anymore? It's one of those things. It's like I am 100% for a woman's right to choose. But as a human being, just a person observing things, there's a big difference between a little clump of cells and a fetus with an eyeball and a beating heart. And for anybody to pretend there's not, you're not doing any
But
argument.
where do you draw the line?
Right, where do you draw the line?
Yeah,
that's the question. And it's what I call a human issue. It's a very complicated issue. It's so fraught with emotion, and it's so political. There's people outside the Supreme Court right now that were chanting and rattling the cages, rattling the fences. Apparently I thought that they put the fences up because of that, but no. They put the fences up because a guy in Colorado, a guy in Boulder, of course, lit himself on fire and killed himself for climate change. Which is if you're going to kill yourself, why would you light yourself on fire and contribute to climate change? You're literally contributing to the carbon in the air. It's dude, just, the guy's gone. No disrespect to the
compost
fellow.
yourself.
He meant it. He felt it. It's a complicated thing, but it's another one of those things.
But it's 18 to be an adult is a very arbitrary.
Very arbitrary.
Random. Nature told you you're an adult when you're ready to procreate.
Right, but you can't even drink.
I know.
But you can have a child, you can get married, you could fight in a war. You're not ready for drinking yet. What the fuck is that?
I know. Makes no sense.
When I was a kid,
and it makes worse drunks because they always talk about in Europe where kids have wine with dinner.
Yeah,
they're not fucking raging assholes at spring break.
Yeah, they're different.
They're normalized.
When you take Catholic schoolgirls, for example, you tell them you can't fuck guys, stay away, boys are the devil, the penis is going to take you straight to hell. Those girls can't wait to fuck guys. They're the horniest girls. Because
Well, anything that's taboo.
where they're in high school and they're
When
only
you
with
drove
girls.
a car before you had a license, your brother had let you drive his car and it was completely illegal,
Yeah.
you loved being stuck in traffic.
Right.
Yeah, it was wee.
Yeah, wee.
I'm
It's a
doing
new
something
thing.
wrong. And now
yeah.
you fucking hate driving across town.
That's true. Yeah, a car used to be, some of them are still a ride. Driving an old car, it still feels like a ride. When I drive like one of my old muscle cars, it feels like I'm on a ride. It doesn't feel like I'm driving. It feels like I'm at Disneyland. Disneyland for adults. That's
What do you
it's
got?
like.
What's in your Jay Leno garage?
I don't
now?
have that many. Not like Jay. Jay Leno has like 11 warehouses. I just have a couple of muscle cars. That's my thing. Is like old, like 1960s, 1970s cars. Those are the ones I love.
Yeah.
I stare at them and I think about them. I think when I look at them and I don't just think, "Oh, that's a cool car." I think, "Damn, well, what was life like back then to be a person who's driving this car?" What did I believe? What access to information did I have? But my entire worldview was based upon experiences that I had at college or something I heard from a friend and books. And it's hard for us to remember what that kind of life must have been like because we kind of grew up. And when we were adults, the internet started emerging. And then cable news started emerging. And there was enough alternative perspectives and viewpoints. We were getting more information with every year. And then all of a sudden, with the internet, it's like now you have this like tsunami of information that's almost maybe too much to decipher sometimes. But I just always wonder, like, what was life like in 1969 for these people, grown adults driving a Camaro?
I buy all this weird vintage Delta stuff because I'm a huge Delta guy.
Delta the airlines?
Yeah, and so on eBay I found old Sky magazines. There was the in-flight magazine from the 70s. And I'll leave them in the seat back pocket when I fly, like in 1974. But you just reading the ads from back then, and just, like seeing things about all those old cars, Ford Granada coming out now.
Yeah.
It's just it takes you way back. And,
Yeah.
I
The
get
flight
old USA
attendants.
Todays.
Ooh.
Like from the 80s and 90s.
Where do you get them?
eBay.
Oh, wow.
And I'll read them on the plane. And just reading old stories is way more fun than reading stories from yesterday.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a version of history. It's like you're getting a version of history books. You're getting it from the actual source of the news that was distributed to the population while the
That
shit
you
was going
read.
down.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think every stand-up comic had to read USA Today because they used to flip them at your door in the hotels every morning or have a stack of free ones.
What was the paper that had the wacky stories? There was like, what was USA Today or one of those?
News of the Weird.
It was like the last page or so was like these wacky stories.
Yeah, it was, the column was called News of the Weird.
Was that a USA Today
Yeah, that's
thing?
the kind of one where a guy
Got eaten by a snake.
or fucked a vacuum cleaner and lost his penis.
Right. Yeah, or had to grow. I saw a guy he got his dick. Something happened, and it got removed from his body, and then they had to reattach it, and they reattached it to his forearm. So he had to let it grow on his forearm until it got enough blood supply or something, and then they put it back.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
they did that with
understand that.
fingers and shit too.
Do you understand that? What happened there with that guy? Do you know what happened? I'm sure you know the story. You were up on all things getting your dick cut off, right, Jamie?
Yes.
But I had one. The headline was where the smoking ban on airlines is going to the House for a vote.
I remember those days.
And reading that while they're doing the non-smoking announcement, like, do you really still have to keep saying that?
Right? Isn't that crazy?
Like, this is from 1989. This newspaper. That's how long it's been.
It is crazy when they tell you can't smoke on a plane. Like, who doesn't know that?
Yeah. I used to have a bit where it just makes me crazy. Where we haven't been able to smoke for. I said that's like if you get on a city bus today and they said, remember, according to federal regulations, colored people can now sit wherever they like. I know that. Everybody knows that. Why do you keep saying it?
Yeah, stop saying colored too. You can say colored people, but
that would be the nomenclature of the day for an announcement.
Oh no, I know that, but I'm saying, how weird is it that you can't say colored people, but you can say people
of color.
Yeah,
It's most of fucking life doesn't make sense.
right, exactly. Exactly.
Like everyone who's screaming about fucking masks don't do anything. I'm not wearing it on a plane. Well, neither does putting your fucking seat in the upright lock position. That doesn't do anything.
Right.
All their bullshit announcement, they don't do anything.
I think they don't like additional new ones. Like you can have all the ones that make no sense, like the seat up and down thing, and then there's an additional new one. They're like, that's it, that's the line.
Exactly.
I'm not fucking cross. This is where I'm gonna die on this hill.
Yeah, you'll gladly walk through the scanner so fucking some minimum wage security hack can look at your wife's IUD close up and clear, but no.
Do you remember they had the one scanners that was showing people's hogs? So they decided they had to get rid of it because it was unethical. Do you remember those? Like people were complaining.
There was a
you
whole
could literally
series.
see an outline of your naked body. And
What'd
people
do?
they felt like it was invasive. And they were saying, no, but we can't tell it's you. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking? But you still see that guy's dick. You're looking at that guy's dick. You're basically looking at a cartoon of that guy's dick. It's like an outline, like a skeleton image. See what the fuck? I know I'm talking about something, but I really don't have the proper information. But I remember correctly, I think.
I remember them when they...
TSA removing body scanners that criticize this too revealing. Yeah. I think this is the one. But so you could see like if someone has a micro penis or a giant hog. Virtual strip searches. Wow, they labeled them virtual strip searches. So there's this one dude, he lives in Mexico, and he's got the biggest dick that's ever been measured and observed. It's hilarious. This guy goes through security, and they pat him down. They always want to pat him down because they're like, what is that? He's like, that's my dick.
Down
Like, there's no
beneath
fucking
your
way.
knee.
There's no way. It's my arm. It's preposterous. He has an enormous dick. It's so big. And this poor guy gets touched up every time he goes through the airport. I mean, he must... At this, Jonah is this the Mexican gentleman? Might be another guy. As an actor. Oh my God, this is an actor.
Looks like
New Mexico.
Berbiglia.
Oh, this is definitely a different dude. So he has the new biggest dick.
He claims it, so maybe.
The dude in Mexico has a fucking piece on him.
Is that Guinness Book worthy? Like, do they...
I think they must measure dicks, right? I mean, it counts. You can measure head size. Why can't you measure dicks? Does Guinness not touch the genitalia? It's too naughty?
I would assume they don't.
Too naughty for such data?
Yeah, it's the same guy.
Same guy? That's the Mexican
I
gentleman?
mean, airport security is the thing I added with my search.
Could
So maybe
you
it keeps popping up with that.
add world's biggest penis Mexico?
Oh, so what happened? Did he get through? Did he have to show it?
I think they just have to touch him and check it out and make sure it's just a regular dick. Mexican man.
It's a fake.
Oh, he lied. Oh, it's a Mexican man's penis is fake. How dare he?
18.9.
He said it was 18, almost 19. I like how he's so humble. He says 0.9. 0.9. I mean, who's counting?
I hate when you do that, where you read a story and then you repeat it for fucking
Over and
years,
over again.
and then you find out it was all bullshit.
Guy's got a rubber dick. He's got a
Hit
rubber
me
dick.
again there, bartender.
You got it, sir. He's got a rubber dick with some cocaine inside of it. You see that lady that got arrested at the border and she had a whole rubber bag filled with fentanyl?
No.
Enough fentanyl to fucking light the whole country on fire. I mean, all of it in her pussy. Like fentanyl, you need the tiniest amounts to fuck people up.
Yeah.
And this lady had like a fucking a
But
baby
the
fist.
word
in her
on the
pussy.
street, based on nothing, but I've heard, is junkies actually want the stuff with fentanyl because it works better, is what I've heard.
Well, I believe that because it's very strong. I mean, the amount that can kill you is so tiny. That's a big part of the problem. I think the most amount of overdose deaths ever was last year. See if that's true. It's 18 to 49, and I think the number of overdose deaths was over 100,000.
Wow.
Which is crazy. That's so many fucking people,
that
man.
Kate Quigley thing.
That was horrible.
Yeah.
That's horrible. They thought they were getting coke, and they got coke laced with fentanyl, and 2 or 3 guys died. How many guys died? And she barely got through. She had to go to the hospital, and
Yeah.
100,306 drug overdose deaths in the United States during the 12-month period between April 21st, an increase of 28.5% from the 78,056 deaths during the same period a year before. That's crazy.
Yeah, the Chaleys and the Bretchels just threw a big desert party, and they brought a drug testing kit.
Yeah, it's like I think that's what we need now. It's like businesses have COVID tests like mine does.
Yeah,
you
it's where you go. Hey, well, if the
Yeah.
government legalized it, then
Yes.
then it would be tested. It would be under federal regulation. But at the same time, if you can do it yourself, fuck it, yeah, get your own drug testing kit.
At the meantime, if you do it yourself, you put this up on Twitter and we talked about it on the podcast. You're 100% right. If this is all a product of drugs being illegal, I bet if drugs were legal, I bet the same amount of people ultimately would do drugs, or maybe even less. I think it would take time, and it would be a real problem when it was settling in, because people would have to get used to the fact that you could just do whatever you wanted when you got to be a certain age, and we haven't prepared people for that. But realistically, almost everyone we know, if they wanted to do coke, they could get coke. Most adults know someone. If you go to bars, if you hang out with people who like to go out at night, if you hang out with people who, every now and then like to go off the rails, they can get you some fucking coke. Most adults know how to get some coke, I would imagine. I mean, maybe I'm just traveling in fucked up circles. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of Bible belt people, Bible thumpers that, don't do anything and don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. For a lot of people that go to bars, you can find coke. So what is the difference? How many people would do coke more if it was legal?
I remember coming off stage after a show when I was drinking in the front bar of wherever years ago, and from across the room, a guy just looks at me and nods like this. And I nodded back, and we went right to the toilet. I knew it was blow. And but yeah,
there's a look that cokeheads give each other. Wide-eyed, it's like either we're gonna fuck or you're gonna hook me up.
But it was
coke.
so subtle though. It wasn't
Right.
like a wink, wink. It was just nodded, and I nodded. I go, that was fucking beautiful. That's like the communication that you get when you're on mushrooms, where you look at each other, tripping your balls off, and you're both laughing at the same thing without having to say a word.
One of my favorite moments as an adult was you and I out in the desert with Jan Irvin when we were tripping balls the day the war started.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, no, I wrote about that in one of my
Remember when we were
books.
driving home and you peed out the door?
With the
you opened
passenger
the door.
open. You had a pickup truck, I think,
It was
back then.
it was like a Yukon Denali.
It was,
a
something
GMC
huge.
Denali.
Oh,
That's
that's
what it
right,
was.
yeah.
It was like a SUV. Yeah.
I think I was still dumbstruck at GPS back then. Like,
Yeah,
you were always
it was
on
a
the
screen.
fucking cutting edge of the new gadgetry and
I had
technology.
GPS back when it was a CD. It was a CD-ROM, or maybe it was a DVD, and I think it was a CD-ROM. And you had to put the CD in the dash for each individual city.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so any city you would get, if I would go to Detroit, if I wanted to drive to Detroit, I'd have to get a Detroit CD-ROM for like the state. Yeah, so like Michigan would have one, California would have one, and you would, some of them only worked for like a city.
Yeah, that's you were always on the
Yeah.
cutting edge of technology, but that must mean you got the shittiest version.
Oh yeah, but I was fascinated. See, the shittiest version today, if I had to use that, I would be fucking furious. It'd be this piece of garbage.
Yeah.
But back then I was living in the future. I'm like, this is amazing. This is amazing. Because I was following a computer on my dash, was like reading signals from a satellite that was telling the satellite exactly where I was at any point in time, and it was navigating me to my target. And I'm like, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing.
Every time I get bored, like my drive to the airport is an hour 45 through the desert, but there's no stoplights. It's just desert. And anytime I get bored, I'll daydream about, like, what would George Washington think if he were transported from the
Yes.
future and sitting in this right now?
Yes.
At,
Yes.
At 60 miles an hour, would he be clutching the fucking dashboard and going,
Freaking
"How
the
are
fuck
we-"
out.
Yeah, that's always that always kills time. That daydream.
Yeah.
I don't listen to music in the car.
Can you
My
imagine-
head is so fucking entertaining.
Well, there's plenty of stuff to listen to. You don't have to listen to music, but
I listen to Audible books
I do
mostly.
too. I listen to a lot of
Fucking
those. Right now.
kills drives so good.
Yeah, and then you get something out of it. You
And
know?
that's not a plug. They actually fired me as a sponsor.
Did they?
Because they sent me some ad copy that I go, this Audible books changed my fucking life from living on the road.
Mm-hmm.
It just kills all those hours between fucking Pittsburgh and Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll drive around the hotel waiting to hear the end because you don't want to wait till tomorrow's drive.
Yeah.
And And then they sent me some ad copy that I go, this is just hokey fucking garbage. And I said that. Like,
Right.
I'll tell you how Audible changed my life. This is way
And they
better
fired
ad
you
copy.
for that?
Yeah, it wasn't, Mr. Audible. It was whatever fucking
It's
ad
the ad
company
agency, yeah.
that got really mad that I shit on their garbage work.
That's the thing. It's like they're. But if you're a guy who's working at a thing, you talk to like a regular podcaster the same as they would talk to a Doug Stanhope. And for you, it's like they should just give you some bullet points. Like if you have a good relationship with the person who does the ads, give me some bullet points, and I'll just tell you what I feel about this.
They might also have figured out that I have 3 books on Audible, so I'm going to push them anyway.
Well, there's maybe that, but I guarantee you it's whoever was writing the copy, and people were just upset, and they probably thought you were being an asshole. But really, what you're doing is genuinely promoting
Selling
Audible
a product
to
yeah.
your people. Yeah.
And let's be honest, I'm not 100% behind some of the things I promote.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I really love Apple Books too. I love that little because it's already built into the phone, and you could just fucking like today. I finished a book, and I'm like, what else? And I just instantly bang, and then I'm getting a book. I mean, it's so crazy that you can get an Audible book in like 5 seconds. In 5 seconds, you're listening to some book that some guy wrote for months and months at a time.
I just read. They're coming tonight too. Jenny Pentland is Roseanne's daughter. Her fucking book came out. It's usually I don't even any biography. The child years, I'm like, hurry up and get this over with. It's always boring.
Right.
Get to where you're a fucking junkie or something. Well, she grew up as her mother was becoming the most famous person in America. She spent between age 12 or 11 or 12 and 18 almost exclusively in mental institutions or those fucked up boot camps they send troubled teens to. And at one point she had been in some institution for, I want to say, a year plus. And she's like, why does everyone else get out and I don't get out? And they go, well, everyone else doesn't have $1 million insurance policy like your mother has on you. And she put it together. Oh, they're just bilking me for the fucking insurance. It's crazy. I always think about that. I never go to doctors because I don't care to know. I mean,
Whenever you have money involved in anything, this doesn't mean that like the medical system's evil or anything's evil. The news system's evil. No, when you have money involved in things, people lean into that fucking money every goddamn time.
it's a balance of that and litigation. Like, okay,
Yes.
this is probably a spot, but we're going to treat it like it's fucking stage 4 melanoma so we don't get sued if we're wrong, and we're going to burn things off and send you over there for additional testings on this. And
I think they can tell in that. They don't have to worry about that anymore. I think their ability to detect cancer is pretty fucking good now.
But
especially
whatever
melanoma.
it is.
But something else.
Yeah,
It's
doctor,
if
it
you're-
hurts when I go like this. Then we're going to actually send you through a series of tests about when I...
Yeah.
It's no longer just don't go like this.
I always wonder about, like, if you see someone like you that smokes every day and is always drinking, but lives a relatively stress-free life for an entertainer and is always laughing. You're laughing constantly. You're always laughing. Every time I talk to you, we laugh.
A little. Sometimes I get a little cunty. Usually at inanimate objects that I hit with another inanimate object because it wasn't cooperating.
Perhaps, but you don't with me. I've known you for 30 years. You've never been cunty with me.
Yeah.
You've always been cool. But my point is, when you look at that and then you compare who a lot of people who would live a lifestyle like yours, but they're angry all the time and they're working all the time and they're, doing something that they hate for money and they wind up with all these diseases.
Yeah.
You fucking skate through life. You're like the dude I know who's
every comic that dies, I get fucking 100 tweets, and you're still alive. What the fuck is going on? How are you still alive?
Meanwhile, Stanhope like openly talks about how he won't go to a doctor because he just like, doesn't want to know.
Yeah. I don't want them putting, it could be that. Well, it could also not be that, and I don't want to go through a battery of tests.
Do you know what a nocebo effect is?
No.
Nocebo effect is the opposite of a placebo effect, and it's real. It's a physical reaction that your body has if it thinks it's got something inside of it that's bad for it.
Is that like when med students, they read too much about different diseases and then they think they have them all?
No, that's maybe a little bit of hypochondria, but that's not what this is. What this is like, there's an example. There was a guy who was on a study for SSRIs, and through somehow or another he fucked up and he took the whole bottle of pills and he freaked out and he went to the emergency room. His heart rate was sky high, blood pressure was fucked. I mean, they're like, oh my God, this guy's like minutes away from dying. What's going on? What did you take? And he says, I don't know. I'm a part of this study. And they show him the bottle, and there's a physician on the bottle. They call the physician. The physician shows up at the hospital and says, you're in the placebo group. You didn't take anything.
Wow.
And so within minutes, heart rate down to normal, blood pressure normal, the guy's completely fine, and he leaves. He freaked himself the fuck out because he knew that he was going to die in his mind because he had taken all these pills, and there's no way that's good.
I know a lot of comics where you go, it's stress, or non-comics, friends of mine.
Anybody, human beings. I think that's a real factor that we don't, we add that factor at the end. You add it at the end. Stress is like at the end of like the alcohol and the cocaine and the fucking bad relationship and the divorce and the getting fired and all that other stuff. And then we put, stress, bad diet, cigarettes. We put all. I think stress might be the number one thing. I think that's.
And I hate to. I avoid the. It's all in your head because it's all because of your head.
Yeah.
Like you're not making it up, but your lifestyle is causing it.
It's a factor. It's a real factor, but you can't weigh it. You can't take it and put it on a scale. If you tell me you smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day, I go, oh, well, that's a lot of fucking cigarettes, so you're going to get sick. But you tell me stress, like what does that mean? Put it in a box. Show me. What does it weigh? How big is it? I don't know what the fuck it means. I don't know what your stress is compared to someone else's stress in the same situation. Some people, they have bad things happen to them. They freak the fuck out and they're never the same. And other people get better. They get stronger through like a bad thing that happens to them. It's like we don't know what that is. We don't know what it's how it affects you. And if you don't think that it has a big factor, I think we should be teaching that. Teaching that to people. It's
military
so
guys.
Huge.
And they exist, and you've met the military guys that were kind of bummed out they didn't get to go to combat, or they're now it's boring. I want to go back there. I want to fucking
Hurt Locker.
Okay,
That movie Hurt Locker.
Not everyone has.
Yeah.
I only remember the first scene with the guy's fucking head exploding in the mask, but I love that guy, Jeremy Renner. I think.
Yeah. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's awesome. I met him at a UFC. Friendly guy. There's like that kind of thing where people like long for the camaraderie that exists in combat. Did you ever read Sebastian Junger? You ever read any of his stuff?
No.
Fucking amazing guy, like really interesting guy, like super earnest, and he's so intelligent. He's so like there's no bullshit in his words.
Fiction or nonfiction?
Well, I'm sure he does fiction too, but I'm a big fan of his nonfiction. He wrote
I know
book
the name.
called Tribe. He was also a part of that documentary.
Restrepo.
Thank you, Restrepo. He was a part of Restrepo. But his book Tribe talks about that. It talks about the camaraderie that men face in combat, and that they go back to regular life, and it's so dull and pale in comparison. And the guys that I know that have served, there's a good percentage of them who have experienced combat, who they say some of their happiest moments of their life. And as crazy as that sounds, like because they got through it, but when they look back at it, they talk about it. They like the camaraderie that we had, like as a team, and some of the stuff they went through, and the fact they thought they were doing it for a really good cause, and that it was, they were being heroes. And so there's like this heightened
This is
sense
a
of
weak
existence.
example, and I'm not trying to liken one to the other, but when you look back at your comedy days where no one knew you and it was just fucking hell gigs, those are the most prominent memories you have of early comedy.
You don't ever want to go back to those hell gigs. Those guys, a lot of them want to go back to combat. A lot of guys want to go back down.
You haven't seen my schedule.
Yeah, but you're a fucking assassin now. It's not the same. You going back to what you were at when you were 4 months into comedy is what I'm talking about. You know? Because, like, when those fucking days, dude, we were terrible. I don't want to do that again.
Yeah,
but as far as
someone
doing those
unearthed
gigs
a
again,
gig of me like 3 months into comedy, a video that's out on YouTube, and sporadically someone finds it and went, "Oh Jesus, what the fuck is this?"
I remember when you had that beautiful hair. You had
this
beautiful long
was,
hair.
This was before, like, it was almost poofy on top with the mullet. It was an extraordinary mane.
Those days when you're trying to find your identity. I wore a suit jacket on stage with rolled up sleeves because I saw a guy wear it on
So everyone
Evening
wearing it.
Improv.
Yeah, it was the comedy uniform.
Like a wacky
basically-
T-shirt and a suit jacket with the sleeves rolled up. God, it was so
pegged
corny.
pants.
I had Cavaricis.
Z
You know those-
Cavaricis.
Yeah, remember those stupid things?
I remember because like my first comedy competition was some nothing Las Vegas thing, but the winner got to actually work at a club on the Strip, which no local comic when I started in Vegas for the listener would ever touch. And my buddy gave me his Z Cavarici like. Not a leisure suit, but like a Don Johnson suit, and
Yes.
it was white jacket, white
Nice.
pants, and God knows what I wore for a shirt, and I failed
The
miserably.
Cavarici pants, the last time I wore them on stage, I had one of the worst bombings of my life. I had one of those bombings that was like life-changing. Like I had to make big decisions. I had just moved to New Jersey. I was living with my grandmother and my grandfather. My grandmother had an aneurysm. They gave her 48 hours to live. She lived for 12 years. For 12 years. And my grandfather had to take care of her. And she would moan in agony and she couldn't move. It was crazy, man. And I lived in this house with them. And I went on and I also broken up with my girlfriend and tore my ACL. So I had a fucked up knee.
Banner year.
And my manager had convinced me that I should dress nice on stage. I'm like, yeah, I should probably dress nicer. And he was like, you should, like, you know, you're a good-looking guy. Wear some nice clothes, which is the worst advice ever for a comedian. So you're on stage like you're going to go to a club. Like, hey, how's everybody doing? You know, I'm wearing, like, a fucking nice button-up shirt. I look like a douchebag.
I took
you know?
all the advice from
Yes.
anyone I thought had a position of power, even if it's just because they booked the Tuesday mic
Yes.
at whatever, Phil's
Exactly.
VIP lounge. Hey, you know, a professional comic, if you want to move on to and that's when I started wearing the suit coat with the sleeves
yeah.
rolled up and
We all did
pleated
that.
pants. And
I went on after Jim Brewer. Me and Jim Brewer worked together for the whole week. We worked together I think it was like Wednesday through Saturday, or at least Thursday through Saturday. We had a lot of fun. We became good friends. It was the first time we ever worked together, and we've been good friends ever since. I did good going on after him most nights. Everything was fine until Saturday night. Saturday night late show. He had, you know how it gets. You do that Wednesday show, Thursday show, Friday show, Saturday show. You do 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. You get loose. Right? Jim Brewer got fucking loose. Dude, he used to do this bit about coming home from drinking, and when you're drunk and your mom's mad at you, she seems like a monster. And you do this bit of, oh my God, he's murdering. And his facial expressions, and I mean, he's murdering, and I am terrified backstage, and I can barely just think about my act, barely. You know, I'm like, I cannot follow this. There's no way I can follow this. Like, he's way better than I am. And I was right. And I went up and just ate shit. Like, he was on a total new level that night. And I've always said to this day, like, people that have never seen Jim Brewer kill, you have no idea. Like, there was a time where I forget what controversy he was involved in. There was some controversy with Jim Brewer where people were mad at him recently.
that's weird.
And they were saying, I know, it's crazy. He's the nicest guy ever.
I know.
And they were saying some real horrible things about him because he made it was some interview he did on a video and they were blowing it up. And someone was saying that, this washed up comedian, like, you are out of your fucking mind. I read those he just needs the attention because he can't sell tickets. Like, you have no idea.
I know.
The Jim Brewer fans are fucking diehards. Like, that guy's probably one of the most underrated stand-up comedians alive. When he murders, I can barely breathe. When Brewer is murdering. He brings you into his crazy mind and takes you on this little journey.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call him underrated. He's fucking rated.
He's rated, but he's so good, he should be filling arenas. That's how good Jim Brewer is. Jim Brewer is a monster. So anyway, at this time, back then, I really didn't have a headliner set. I can kind of stretch it out to a headliner set, and I knew it. I'd only been doing comedy like 3 years.
Yeah.
I really didn't have 45 minutes. I was fucking terrified. And I went up there and bombed with my stupid
Where was it?
Cavaricci's
Do
on.
you remember?
I think it was in like West Nyack, New York.
All
It was
right.
like a comedy loft or some shit. Like they had like these, everybody had Comedy Den, Comedy Shack, Comedy this. It was something like that. But we became great friends. And I after that set, I made a big effort to like change my material. I had to like cut all the fat out of my material. I was like, I can't pretend I have 45 minutes. What I need to do is write 45 minutes of killer shit. Like, I can't just like sit on this 30 minutes and I'm stretching out to 45 minutes and bullshit.
I was forced into the fire because I was playing Missoula, Montana. No, Great Falls, Montana, and it was a Tribble gig. One nighter, legendary booker
Tribble
of
tour.
the fucking longest drives between gigs. Okay, you do Idaho Falls and then you drive 9 hours to Billings and then double back to go to Whitefish, and it was just crazy for no money. It's like $125 a night in the early '90s, and now it's probably $100, and he only has like 4 gigs left. But
He's still out there? Tribble's
he's still
out
got
there?
you still get a few gigs.
I wanted to go on a Tribble gig just because I wanted to be able to say I went on a Tribble gig.
Well, we
that
do
was always
Tribble
the
gigs
thing.
ourselves because it's beautiful
Yeah, but
to
you
be.
got to do it through him because it's a Tribble gig.
Yeah, I know. To make it official,
Yeah.
we just go play the same bars.
How
that he
old
used to
is
book.
he? He's got to be 100 years old.
If you could look up David Tribble, because if I'm wrong and I did hear he passed away,
Did you ever do the Schuler gigs?
Schuler, no, where was that?
John Schuler had a gang of really good gigs in like the Connecticut area.
No, I never played New England till
West-
later in my career.
Oh yeah, John Schuler.
Let
Shout
me
out to
just
John
finish.
Schuler.
I show up to be the 25-minute feature act. The fucking headliner is snowed in on the other side of the pass, on the other side of Idaho, can't make it. So now I have to cover fucking 90 minutes of comedy. Having a strong 25 that day, and I remember sitting in everything I'd ever written in my notebook, whether it's shit or not. But I went up and I told them, like, I was supposed to do 25 minutes, so everyone was on my side.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But it really forced me, okay. And then I go, hey, I did maybe 75 minutes. I probably got off a little early. But I go, okay, I can do this if I'm forced to do it. And now I did it. And
One of the things about what we do is that you never are allowed to. You can get comfortable for a little bit until you release a special, and then it's back to square one, bitch. Back to square one. You don't get to sit on your old hits. You know, like a great band can. Like I
when
saw
they're
the
coming to
Stones.
see you.
Yeah.
When they're coming to see Joe Rogan and not coming to see Comedy Night that has because they had a coupon. Now you're like, oh fuck, I owe these people something because now I have a crowd and they saw this shit last year. I'm
Yeah.
under the gun, or I just put out a special.
Just put out a special is the big
Yeah.
one. And then the other one is like if there's a benefit to just going on a comedy night because maybe they're not Doug Stanhope fans. You know, there's like some guys that get captured by their fans. You know,
I am. I'm that guy. I don't fucking venture out. Like when no one get fucking canceled by their own fans.
you said this to me once. You
Yeah.
said I worked 25 fucking years to get an audience. Why would I leave them?
Yes, exactly. And I literally have one of the best audiences. When I just went back to the Comedy Store, I worked the Comedy Store in March 2 nights,
Yeah.
which I do. Like L.A. is every 18 months when I have brand new shit, and then I get called back to do the Netflix comedy special. Just a couple days ago, it's like a 10-day festival. The Netflix comedy festival.
It's like Netflix is a joke, right?
Yeah, Netflix is a joke, which is over 10 days in L.A., where all of those comics probably live in L.A.
Yeah.
You're not hanging out after the show. It's not a festival for us.
Right.
But I went back to the Comedy Store to hang out, and the guy's like, I just have to tell you, when you were here, your fans are the fucking best fans. They tip well, they drink heavy, no one complains about anything. And
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's beautiful. Now I'm getting competitive with you about fans. You know, people do that. Mike, yeah, your fans are the best fans. Wait, what about my fans? What about my fans? That is the curse of the comedian.
The guy that told me that in New York, we played Sony Music Hall, and he was saying the same thing about my fans. And because I say they drink, they tip almost at a gay audience level, who are renowned the best
They're the
tippers.
best tippers?
Gay audiences are the best tippers.
That's beautiful.
And I go, you're up top. There's a Griffin scale in comedy audience tippers, and it goes from Eddie Griffin at the bottom to Kathy Griffin audiences at the top. It's the Griffin scale of tipping.
That's hilarious. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh my God, so true. It's a weird ride we've been on, buddy. You know, I remember I found out about you. It was in I think I was in Houston, where I was doing stand up, and then
We were just talking about that. Someone, like people when they tweet those old late '90s Laugh Stop Houston calendars that he used to have out coming this month, and it'd be fucking you, me, Hedberg, Louis C.K., fucking every comic that was. No one had any idea.
Yeah, those calendars are beautiful. If you get a hold of one of those, I would like to get one of those Laugh Stop ones. Laugh Stop, I mean,
and you just said that, and now you're gonna get like 900 of them.
Good, get me one.
Send it to 212 Van Dyke Street, Bisbee, Arizona, 85603.
Did you hear about Brian Hersey?
Fuck, just found that out yesterday.
Yeah.
And he was not a guy that. I mean, suicide, you can't guess who's.
Nobody
But there's
knows.
some that you're not as surprised as others. And Hersey was the sweetest kid, and he had that laugh. And it was his real laugh.
He was a funny dude, man.
Yeah.
You know what happened, with a lot of those guys, they were like so invested in the Houston scene, and then what was his name that was running the Laugh Stop?
Mark Babbitt.
That's right, Mark. And when they get rid of him, like everything kind of changed. And then when they closed down, he was glue. And he was crazy. And he was.
There's some
improprieties.
some
perhaps.
theories that have floated around on the rumor mill.
Yeah, just fucking allegations, probably unfounded. But the point is, the guy, like, you need a fucking crazy person to run a comedy club. I've always said this to these comics. I'm like, don't think of yourself as having this animosity towards club owners, because you need club owners. There's this thing that comics have in the beginning where they don't feel like they're getting paid what they deserve, or they don't feel like they're getting booked as much as they should, and they can't get into place. And then when they finally do get into place, and then they finally start doing well, they never forgive club owners for the way club owners used to make them feel in the early days of the career.
Yeah,
it's
projection.
basically how ugly guys feel about hot women. They're just mad at the women because the women don't like them. But it's had nothing to do with the women. The women aren't doing anything wrong. You're just gross. You're just gross. And that's how it was with us. Like, we were all gross, and the club owners were like, look, we have a lot of fucking, Dave Attell's coming. A lot of people who are good are coming. I don't need you. And that relationship, I was always telling these guys, like, you got to have these people in your life. And some of them are crazy. And some of them are trying to rip you
like
off.
Teachers. When you look back of all the teachers you had in all your public schooling, you can remember a couple that did stand out, and some that were fucking wretched. And Mark Babbitt was the club owner that really gave a fuck, not about making money. He supported open mic in that he watched people, he helped guys grow.
Yes.
He was there. That was it was like his baby. Like, I want you guys to fucking do well. I want.
He was like really running a community.
Yeah.
And that's what Houston had for a while. And then when it went away, it just wasn't the same. And I hear it's coming back now, and I hear there's like a good community down there now. A lot of people, they do that. What is that place, a secret group? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's where they did Skank Fest. That's probably where I got COVID.
Yeah. I hear nothing but good things, though.
It was so much fun. I don't think I'm gonna. They're doing it in Vegas, and it's sold out now. They're doing it in Vegas in October, but I had to restructure my road tour, and I'm not going to be able to do it. And it fucking sucks.
Yeah, well, something like that could be done on a regular basis. I mean, you could do a fucking Stanhope Fest. You could do, just bring a bunch of your. I mean, the whole point is that the scene is better. Like, it's great that Skankfest is killing it, and I love that they're doing it all over the country too. But like, the comedy scene in Houston is better. That's what I like. I like the fact that there's like because of COVID in particular, that forced a lot of people to decide what the fuck they really want to do. And a lot of people recognized that comedy was almost taken away from everybody because you couldn't do live comedy in a lot of places because of the regulations. Everybody was scared of COVID. And when that subsided and comedy shows started coming back, there's like a newfound enthusiasm because this thing that you love to do almost went away.
I ran into a comic named Mo from Houston.
Mo Amer?
I guess so.
Yeah.
And he tours with Chappelle.
Yeah,
he was at
that's
the
Mo.
festival. It was very funny. I'm sitting out in front of the
Mo-
comedy
Mo's
store
great.
during the day because it's closed, but they leave all the stools and tables out in that front outdoor bar patio. So I can go from the hotel where I'm staying next door and sit and smoke and write alone during the day. And I see Chappelle and his entourage are at that coffee shop directly across the street.
Yeah.
And I can tell, at first I'm like, I think that's Chappelle. And then once he lit up a cigarette where anyone else couldn't be smoke, I'm like, yeah, it's Chappelle. And the funny part was those tour buses, the open top tour buses, like see the stars, the houses of the stars kind of shit.
Yeah.
And they'd all stop in front of the comedy store and take pictures from the bus of the comedy store. And I'm like, turn around. Dave Chappelle's right.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
But so Mo, Chappelle left, but then Mo saw me and came across the street, and he was talking about he's really trying to reopen the Laugh Stop in Houston.
The old place is still available? That old place is still there?
Evidently.
Dude.
Or maybe he was trying to turn the Laugh Spot. That was a funny story. There used to be two Laugh Stops, and they sold one. So to save money on the sign, they just switched the letters.
Is that
from
real?
Yeah.
That's real?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Laugh Stop to Laugh Spot.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious. I always
Oh, and
wondered.
there was another guy. This is how this slides into Brian Hersey, because I was asking him, there was a comic, and I don't think it was John McDowell, but someone with a name like that's too common to remember, but killed himself, hung himself like off the balcony after a gig at the Laugh Stop.
Really?
And I was tweeting, like, what was that guy's name? I was trying to tally up how many comics have been found dead in their hotel. Like, people were died on the road in a hotel.
Quite a few. Saget recently.
Yeah.
Carlin.
Hedberg.
Ralphie. Hedberg.
Wait, Carlin was in a hotel?
Yeah.
Ralphie, I
believe
got corrected.
I believe Carl was in Vegas, right?
Ralphie
Looking
was...
this up, I think he died later.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so he had an incident in the hotel?
Ralphie was not technically in a hotel, but he was doing a residency in Vegas, but they had they'd rented like a house or something. I got corrected when I tweeted about this. I was trying to tally up.
Ralphie was one of those ones where it's like people are so different from just you and them interacting, having a conversation, to when they're untethered from other people. And that's the thing with a guy like Ralphie. It's like if Ralphie could be the Ralphie that he was around his friends, I think he would have been happy and healthy.
Well, I ran into him maybe 2 years before he died in Nashville. I was working there, and we went out for sushi, and he was just like bitter like me, and fuck this business, and like everything not Ralphie. But Ralphie was kind of a sponge of the personalities around him.
Who was around him at the time?
I don't think anyone was. I think it's when he was going through the divorce.
The divorce probably got him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hard one for almost everybody.
But Ralphie was always the big upbeat sweet guy. So to see him in a angry place, and are you just copying my anger, Ralphie? I love to complain. I'm never really angry. I just love to complain.
Well, I think he had
part
a
of the
legitimate
business.
reason. I mean, he was losing everything.
Yeah.
Losing his family, losing money, and he had like legit health problems. I mean, Ralphie had multiple stomach surgeries. He had more than one to try to,
But did he?
I don't know. He had a giant scar.
Yeah,
Huge
but
scar
how
on his
many?
stomach.
Because
You
every
ever
time
see
he
it?
got his... Yeah, he was not ashamed to take off his shirt, and that's
Looks like
one
he had
thing
in a
I love.
sword fight.
Anyone who can smile big with bad teeth or take off their shirt when they're fucking Ralphie's age, I have
Yes.
utmost respect.
Right.
But the first time I met him in Houston in mid-'90s, he told me he'd just got his stomach stapled and had lost 150 pounds or whatever. And then a couple of years later, when I saw him again, he had just gotten his stomach stapled and just lost this much weight. So I'd heard... many a
Yeah.
Ralphie story that But you know what? If he's not my manager, I don't give a fuck if he's lying.
Yeah, well, it's just unfortunate. It's like he didn't have to with us. You know, we don't give a fuck. If you said I had to stop at Jack in the Box and eat 75 jalapeno poppers, we don't give a fuck. We'll laugh. We don't care. You know, one of the best things about comics is they'll embrace you for whatever weird shit you're into. That's why
celebrate you.
Nobody gives a fuck. Gay, straight, black, white, Asian, European. No, literally no one cares other than are you funny? That's literally that's the currency that we.
And sometimes, come on, we have fucking really good friends that aren't funny.
Yeah, that's a problem. The problem is when they want, like, if you have a really good friend that's not funny and they've been doing it for quite a few years and they're fucking starving to death and they want you to take them on the road, you're like, bro, I can't. Like, whatever your math that you're not doing, you need to work that math out. I mean, if whatever 1 + 1 = 5.
I got to clarify this because it makes me crazy when other people say it. When I say you're not funny, I mean I don't find you funny. When people flat out, especially when they're castigating a comedian for a bit that's off color or harmful or hurtful, and they go, well, it's just not funny. This subject isn't funny. No, it's not funny to you. Yeah. When you watch the clip of this that you're complaining about, you can clearly see an audience laughing.
Yes.
So it's funny to someone.
It's nonsense. This idea that it's not funny, period. Like that you could, that's so subjective. There's things that are funny to a lot of people. Like, I don't understand The Big Bang Theory. I watched it a bunch of times. A lot of people are laughing. I don't understand it. I mean, I literally watch it like
I get upset at just the commercials.
It's like I'm watching someone piece together a lawnmower. I don't get it. Like, okay, but this is my reaction to it. But that fucking show is a giant success, man. So obviously I'm wrong. You know, there's a lot of shit that I don't like, but other people love, and that's a thing we gotta be more accepting about.
Like in the Larry the Cable Guy heyday, there was like 2 years where you couldn't go on stage without someone yelling "Get her done." And like, I don't hate Larry the Cable Guy. He's a sweetheart.
He's a sweetheart.
I hate his audience.
I don't even hate his audience. It's the same audience that would yell out, "I'm rich, bitch," at the Dave Chappelle shows.
Yeah, I hate that person too.
Dude, I watched that. I watched Dave go on stage and like, it was during the height of the Chappelle show and before he left. And he went on stage, I think, I might be having a fucked up memory about this, but I think it was at the House of Blues in Vegas. And people kept fucking yelling, "I'm rich, bitch." And it's just,
I remember.
It's exhausting. And I think apparently
Wait,
that
they
happened
were
to
yelling
Dave
at you?
everywhere. No, at Dave when he was on stage.
Yeah, no, I remember that whole,
There was
and
this
he'd leave
thing.
fucking shows early. Like, fuck, I don't have to do this.
It was, I think for him, it was like he got captured by this the success of this one fucking catchphrase, which is crazy. But that can happen, man.
But it wasn't even a catchphrase. They made it a catchphrase.
Yeah.
It was one sketch that stuck. Mm-hmm. It's not like he was saying "Get her done" on "I'm rich bitch" every night, like "Get her done."
But even if he is saying "Get her done," who gives a fuck? It's like the hating of the Larry the Cable Guy thing. It's like there was some people that felt like he was doing things that were xenophobic, right? Wasn't there some people that were upset that he was doing some stuff that was like during the war that they felt, oh, God, I'm trying to remember wasn't that part of what Dave Cross was trying to say when he was mad at Larry the Cable Guy?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Beefs do sell tickets.
Yeah.
And hardcore beliefs now, I've noticed, as the fucking comedy gets split into camps. If you have a hardcore fucking right-wing, left-wing opinion, you're selling way more tickets than a pragmatist like myself.
Well, or a centrist. I think I used to think of myself as a left-wing person, but now I think of myself as left of center or center left. This fucking world we're living in, everyone's so eager to get on a team and start throwing rocks at the other team. And I always say that all the most important shit that we all agree on is like, it's vital to both sides. Like, I want to be safe. I want to be healthy. I want to be able to do what I want to do. I want to be able to hang out with my friends. I want to be able to, relax with my family. I want to be able to feed people. I want to make sure that everybody's taken care of. That's what we all want. We don't want chaos and violence in our fucking home, in our neighborhood. We don't want crime. We don't want to be fucked over by corrupt politicians. We all want that on right and left, right? And then the other things that we don't agree on, I guarantee you they're less important. The things we don't agree on, we can like figure out why we don't agree on respectively, and I think you'll have more people coming towards the center and try to figure out some sort of workable solution. But the problem is we're so goddamn polarized in this country right now. Post-Trump, everybody's so fucking polarized because that guy like pissed gasoline and lit it on fire on like half the fucking country. And half the country now is never Trumpers. And you've got 30% that think he's Jesus and they want him to come back and resurrect the Constitution. And then you got everybody else that's like, I don't have a fucking horse in this race. And so you got people like me that are like, what the fuck is going on? Like everybody's losing their mind. Yeah. How am I a far right guy? A guy who almost voted for Bernie Sanders, a guy who smokes a lot of weed, a guy who grew up on welfare. Like I'm not. This is not real. You guys are crazy. You have two completely polarized sides and no one is being in any way compassionate or charitable about the other side's opinions. We're not meeting in the middle on all the shit that we all agree on.
But so for me, and maybe it's because I've kind of checked out mentally. Like that's just too anxiety ridden, and I know I'm not gonna fucking help by having an opinion.
But you do help by having an opinion.
But I'm trying to stick to opinions that I kind of know something about,
right. And
most of the shit I don't know about.
Right.
I've got great bits out of both of those.
Yeah,
like the fucking Ukraine. Oh, this is funny. The Ukraine. Okay, I know that's the war that took the COVID out of the top slot in the news after so many weeks on the Billboard fucking top 100. And I got an email. I have a fan in the Ukraine. You have the same thing where you have fucking fans in every weird place. And a guy emailed me, very broken English, but very sweet. Doug, I'm probably your only Ukraine fan. Pardon my English. It is. I try to translate. I've seen.
Can I stop you right here?
Yeah,
that was me. I was fucking with you.
Oh no, it was, and I knew it was going to happen because he says, "I'm your biggest comedy fan. I watch all your Translate YouTube video. You are best comedy god. You must tell people what Russia is doing to my people. People need to know in your country." And I'm like, I think you over.
Yeah, you went too far, buddy. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I think he thinks I have a way bigger voice than I do to tell America about the news of what's happening in the Ukraine. And he sent me all these links. This is stuff you will not find on mainstream media. And I go, listen, I don't have time to fucking watch the news. It makes me crazy. But I'll have you be my personal Ukraine war correspondent. Just you and me. I'm only going to get my Ukraine news from you. So then he just blows me up all the time. His name's Dima, and he's very sweet. He's 27. We will crush.
How do you know
these
he's 27?
Russian. He tells me.
How do you know he doesn't work for the government? He might be a 14-year-old kid in his parents' basement.
But I don't
Cleveland.
care. He thinks that now he's talking to his fucking idol and we will crush these orcs. They have no passion to fight. We will wait for the spring in the tall grass and remove their heads from the necks, and we will watch their bodies burn in delight. And then
Christ.
But then he'll always follow it up with, "How are you?"
This Ukraine thing is freaky.
But the point is, at some point he goes, "Maybe you could talk to Joe Rogan." I'm like, all right, you just saw me as a conduit to get the word out. Oh, it's happened since the Man Show days. Not nearly as bad as fucking Johnny Depp now, where people, you have to get this to Johnny. I'm like, I'm not that close of friends where I just... Here, Johnny, here's an email of someone who wants to buy you a home-cooked meal if you're ever in fucking ass cancer, Nebraska. But you, back in the fucking Man Show days, Joe won't respond to my emails. Please tell him. And then I would tape I'd have the email printed off and tape it to the outside of my office door for you.
We showed your article that you had written a bunch of years ago about Amber Heard blackmailing Johnny. And I remember you connected me to him on the phone, and I talked to him on the phone.
Yeah, we were pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. They're going to subpoena my texts.
I was drinking margaritas on the beach at the same time.
You were in Hawaii, and we were on fucking Johnny Depp Island.
I'm drinking margaritas. I got my wife up. I'm holding the phone. I'm on the phone with Johnny Depp. Settle the fuck down,
and
bitch.
and he was just mumbling. He was
He was great. No,
yeah,
no,
but
no.
he mumbled like Hunter S. Thompson from the movie. Another
He does
thing,
that sometimes. I think his monologue may have affected his.
Did you watch any
perceptions
of the
what's
trial?
interesting. I've watched all the trial.
Have you?
I've
So
watched
you
as
watched
much
the
as I
poop
can.
part?
Yeah, I watched the poop part.
We were
Yeah.
fucking dying like it was a comedy show when we're watching at the house.
When he's saying that she tried to blame it on the
Dropping
dog.
a grumpy. How do you know it wasn't a dog feces? How do you know it was human feces and not your dog's? They're teacup Yorkies. They weigh about 4 pounds each. I've picked up their fung before.
Yes.
Fung, a word I've never heard.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, what you get out of it is that, he is an actor and he's very charming, but he's also clearly a nice guy.
He's fucking one of the sweetest people I've ever met.
I 100% believe that. I briefly said hello to him in the backstage of the main room. I didn't really have a conversation with him until you connected me with him on the phone. He's a sweet guy. I mean, I might be wrong. I mean, some people are sweet sometimes. Some people are sweet sometimes, and you don't see them when they're like this Ralphie May thing that I was saying earlier. It's like the Ralphie that we were around was like a happy, joyful Ralphie. That Ralphie should have been concerned about his overconsumption of food and his, just being like, everybody loves you, man. But then you go on your own. And when you go on your own, sometimes that's a different entity. Sometimes people are way different when they're on their own than when they hate themselves for whatever reason. They get angry, they get frustrated. It's weird, man. You find out about it and you're like, that guy? Like, it took me a while to understand Brody. I didn't understand Brody because
I never did.
I loved Brody, but I always thought everybody loves Brody. Like, how could Brody be depressed? My feeling of Brody was so I knew people who were mentally ill. I had many friends that had like mental illnesses for sure. But Brody's was a different thing. I didn't understand it. Like, I didn't know how much of it was like him joking around and how much of it was real
how much
pain.
of it is
real
him
pain.
putting on like a
Right.
Gilbert Gottfried face.
Exactly. It was
And
so
I
hard
always
to tell.
thought he was, kind of knew how kooky he was. And then he came out to I did a benefit show for the Humane Society in Tucson, and he came out for it, and we picked him up at the airport early, Bingo and I, and we went to. It might have been after he had that kind of Twitter breakdown.
Yeah. Well, he had a real breakdown.
Yeah, it was a real one, but he live tweeted it.
Yeah.
But we
Right,
went
right,
to
right.
breakfast at fucking Denny's right off the airport, and he just sitting there in this very awkward silence, like you could see both of our gears trying to drum up small talk, because this is not the happy Brody
Right.
warm-up show guy that I know. This is both of us in the morning. I'm fucking hungover and he's mentally ill.
Right.
And socially awkward.
Yeah. He went off his medication at one point in time, and then I kind of understood what was going on. And one of his good friends reached out to me and said, be careful in how you engage with him because he's off his medication, and we're trying to bring him back. And this is a good friend that I kind of sort of knew. So I knew that he was friends with Brody, so I was like, okay. What do I do? And then I saw him on stage one night in the main room, and man, it was wild. It was like he was angry at the audience, but like the jokes weren't there anymore. It was the same tempo that he had with his act, but it was like anger instead of like, he would have like fake anger in his act, and it was hilarious. Yeah, it was hilarious.
But you can't tell off stage.
Yeah, I make money. He would say that. When I take my mom out for dinner, it feels good to pay half. he had it, but it was like this anger at the audience for not understanding who the fuck he is.
It's
But
like
then-
Holtzman. Holtzman's the
Yeah.
same. Like, okay, at what point?
Holtzman appears to be holding it together, though.
He came to Skank Fest and he was wearing this, what was Colonel Parker kind of Western cut, cream colored, shiny suit. He looked a fucking $1 million. And it's the first time I've seen him out of LA. I've only seen him out of LA maybe once or twice at like Aspen Comedy Festival, but where he felt comfortable. Like he was known for, he worked the Comedy Store because that was his comfort zone.
Yeah.
And outside of that, but he was fucking solid.
He was
and
solid.
Eddie Pepitone, too.
Oh,
God
yeah, very
damn
solid.
it, is he funny.
Eddie is a great follow on Instagram. He's a great follow. It's really funny. He writes some really funny shit about catastrophes and linking them to corporations.
Let me stop you right there. I do a bit about how I might be canceled and not know it, because if you're not famous, how would you know? But like all my stuff's been taken off of Netflix, and I don't know how long the shelf life is supposed to be or if it's on purpose. And my Instagram has been shut down since March of 2020.
You didn't know?
I never really used it, but I thought during pandemic I'll learn it. Hennigan would put up some pictures here and again. But I was verified. No, it just like all of a sudden our password didn't work and we couldn't, the forget password, none of it worked. We went through every channel, fucking NoFX, Fat Mike's manager. I can guarantee I've fixed this for a million of my clients. He couldn't. Hennigan's now got a girl that works with someone in the industry. I definitely have it. Still have no Instagram, and you can't. Yeah, real Stanhope.
You can't get in there?
Listen, this is not like I tried something once and hit a wrong button. It's been over 2 years.
I would probably write that off to too many people that work at Instagram and too many accounts. I would write that off. I think I can help you with that.
That's why I just said it.
Yeah, I can help you with that.
On your podcast.
Yeah. Listen, all these social media companies.
Is our ice girl still here?
We don't have an ice girl. We have a large gentleman that.
I couldn't remember his name, so I said it all salty like.
Don't be salty.
Yeah,
young Jamie will get us some ice. We're getting hammered, buddy.
You know what?
Like the old days. Come on, have a little neat.
I think that was.
Have a little neat.
I think that was missing last time.
Yeah. Well,
It was like 10 in the morning.
Last time I think we did it a little early. Cheers, my brother.
Cheers.
Always good to see you.
You too.
You're one of my favorite people. You stay alive, I'm happy.
Yeah, I don't even. I mean, other than normal feeling bad. I'm bad enough that I don't know that I have COVID, evidently.
I'm going to move you out here and get you on the protocol if anything goes sideways. If anything goes sideways, I'm the first phone call, okay? We're going to fucking take you out of here. Hyperbaric chamber, sauna, cold plunge, hormones, everything. We'll bring you right back like Frankenstein.
I've been looking for... I hope I always worry about repeating myself on here, but I was thinking like July. I have July completely off. Where do I go for 30 days that I don't have cigarettes? And can't get cigarettes.
Well, you can
because that's the easiest way to quit smoking is
no.
not have cigarettes, and you just quit. It's over.
Here's what we do: we get your account back from Instagram. First of all, thank you, young Jamie. We get your account back. Then you do a 30-day thing where you have no cigarettes for 30 days, and you just post it on Instagram, and Instagram will see this as an opportunity to help a lot of people that have an addiction to cigarettes, and they'll all be able to kick it.
And I just and there's a million places like a boat.
I like to smoke.
If you're on a boat, I
like to smoke.
I heard you're starting to
smoke. One cigarette before a show.
That's what I heard.
I broke it down to one. I was doing 3 sometimes. It's too much.
Well, did he smoke? Well, it's relative. Yeah, he smoked how much?
Well,
no one died of fucking cancer
from a cigarette a day. Not even a day.
Those people that you meet after shows, they go, "Oh, there's cigarette. I haven't smoked since college. Can I get one of those?" And then they smoke like 3 drags and go, "Ooh, I can't believe I used to do this." That was a fucking $1, lady.
It's not good for you. I know it's not good for you.
I know, but when they bum them where they don't really smoke, well, I really need smoke, so fuck you for habitual or randomly.
Sorry for having willpower. But what I do is one before each show. It's a nootropic. There's a cognitive benefit of nicotine, and I could take it in other forms. Like I tried this shit right here. This is one of them pouches. Shaw brought this over. It's disgusting. I couldn't handle that. Can you handle that, Jamie?
Is that like chew?
No, it's like a pouch. It's like chew.
You put it in your mouth.
You put it in your mouth, but it's like the flavor is what. Again, he's like, "Oh, this one's delicious." Shaw keeps like 3 or 4 in his mouth at all times. The dude's medicated. But young Jamie and I, we lasted about. What, a minute, 2 minutes?
It's not.
Both, but at the same time, we both bailed.
Yeah. It doesn't even feel the same or taste the same as the like.
I did bring a vape pen this time.
How was that?
I got it specifically for here.
Yeah.
But I tried it, and I'm like, it'll probably get me through.
Dude, cigarettes. Just smoke your cigarettes,
I know,
man.
I forget.
We have a whole system in here that sucks air out.
Well, I forget you smoke cigars, so I'm not like you're the bigger asshole.
Well,
if there was a non-smoker here, they would hate you more than me.
I don't know. Some people like to smell cigars.
And pipes.
Pipes are great.
Hedberg used to smoke pipe. like a
Pipes are
corn
great.
cob pipe.
Yeah.
He'd smoke tobacco out
Pipes
of
are
it,
great.
like fucking Mark Twain.
Yeah, Steven Crowder gave me a nice pipe and some real tobacco. He smokes pipes.
And everybody loves pipes.
They smell good.
Yeah.
That smell is like aromatic. It's almost like an incense. The cigarette smell is the one that pisses people off the most. Cigars is only next. Like, I like cigars.
If dandelions were as rare as roses, everyone would be picking them. So yeah. If you only smelled a cigarette every here and again, but
Is that your
everyone
quote?
smoked a
Is that your
fucking
quote?
pipe.
Did you make that quote?
I
up?
don't think so.
It's too good. So good. That's
What,
so
the
good.
dandelion one?
That's a great line.
Oh, I had this fucking line. Actually, I stole it because I was in a sports bar in Philly when I was playing Helium down there, and I was just at a sports bar watching football, and there was this fucking arrogant blowhard who's just. He's talking over every TV in the sports bar. He was so loud and drunk. And he said kind of the joke, and then his buddy kind of filled it in. And I'm like, there's no way. That's a great joke for stage. And you just happened upon it and didn't even know it was funny. And I'm stealing that. So for the first several times, I would qualify with, I stole this from a loudmouth prick at the bar that didn't know it was funny, and then I added whatever I needed to, where I have a post bucket list. When I die, I want my remains scattered in all these special places. On this stage specifically, I want my remains scattered. Things I don't want to be cremated. I don't want
to be cremated either.
Greg Chaley to come in and splatter my remains and fucking rendered fat and fucking bones and digits. And then Paul Provenza came to my show in L.A. and he's like, that's the best joke. And the next day he found where someone had tweeted that. And then he goes, years ago, like 2014. And he's like, that's not my joke. That's from a Dana Gould tweet. And I'm like, all right, now I have to dump this.
That makes sense. That's the problem. If you hear something funny from a friend, you try to incorporate it in your act.
It's 15 seconds that I had to cut out of my act.
Well, you know how like some guys are so ethical, like Dave Attell always did that. And then recently, Jim Norton, last night, in fact, he sent me a text. He goes, hey, do you ever say this? And I said, I don't say that, I say this. He goes, because I've been doing this and someone told me that it sounds like this. I go, no, it's not the same thing at all.
It
And we're good.
usually isn't.
Yeah, it's not at all. But that's how ethical he is.
Yeah.
He heard that we had like crossing subjects. And
Yeah,
so
I had to
contacts me.
call Bill Burr once because he had, and I swear he actually said it on his podcast about NFL versus soccer or rugby, and they say, oh, football's pussies because they have to wear helmets, and we don't wear helmets in rugby, and I swear it was Bill Burr on a podcast that said, yeah, but you never hear about a fucking rugby player shooting himself in the heart so they can study his brain because he's fucking crazy at 40. I'm paraphrasing
right.
and doing a bad accent.
Yeah.
But I called him up. He goes, I don't remember ever saying that at all, but fucking cool on you for checking. And I still think, and it wasn't even for my act. It was for something I was
someone
writing.
Someone will find it because you're saying it now. Someone will find it and they'll get it to you.
Yeah, but that was years ago. But the point is, yeah, it's always fun to make the call.
Yeah. The calls are good. I've called Bill about subjects before because he's a guy who's seen a lot of guys, and there's like a few guys that I feel like are, I've known Bill for fucking forever, as long at least as I've known you. And, he's at the top of the food chain now. So to call...
Well, you knew him on the East Coast, too, right?
I was leaving Boston right when he was starting.
All right.
I was gone. Like, right when he was starting. Then Patrice O'Neill and him, and there was a couple other guys that were in that little that group. I got second wave. I got B wave. A wave was like Don Gavin, Steve Sweeney, Lenny Clark, Kevin Knox, Mike Donovan, a few other guys in that group. There was like so many fucking elite comedians, and then I came in right when comedy was realizing like that a lot of people had just had these formulaic acts. They were almost like carpenters. Like they figured out how to hit a nail with a hammer, and they just did an act.
Yeah, you can do comedy if you're a scientist that go, oh, if I say this and this is incongruous, that makes.
Yes. I was.
Someone told me I could get pussy for $1 in this town, and that was the mayor. Oh, the mayor wouldn't say that, so it's funny.
I was reading this, listening to this audiobook that I've read this book 4 or 5 times. It's The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. And I haven't picked it up in forever. I used to have a stack of them at my studio, and I'd give them out to guests. And I was reading it, listening to it on an audiobook in the sauna today. And one of the things that he said he was talking about how some people will say things because they think that other people want to hear that. They'll say whatever is popular.
That will be, they think other people will think is funny rather than they think it's funny.
He was talking about how this is a trap, and that what you've got to do is just talk about it from your perspective, and that'll resonate with other people. And that's the only way you can do it.
When I started comedy, I was writing things that I thought people would laugh at.
100%, me too.
And when I got to a point, and that was probably a change in my career, where the stuff I would laugh at hysterically with me and my friend back in the fucking apartment, I go, yo, but you could never do that on stage. Well, if I'm laughing this hard, yeah, you should do that on stage. And that's
how I got into comedy. I got into comedy from my one of my best friends in life. His name's Steve Graham, and I'm gonna see him this weekend in Phoenix. He's a guy that I was friends with when I was 15, and I would make him laugh, and he was like, "You should be a comedian." And I said, "No." I go, "You think I'm funny, but other people are gonna think I'm an asshole. You just like me, so I can say crazy shit to you." And he's like, "No, you really should be a comedian." And I was like, "Oh man, there's no way." But that is what comedy is. What comedy is like finding, like if you pay to like anybody before Pryor. Imagine Pryor's material delivered by anybody before Pryor. And you'd be like, how? How could you do this? How are you doing this? How are you making this enormous leap of comedy? Like, what's happening here? How are you able to like bring people together and that they feel warm and friendly at the same time they're laughing hysterically? Like, how are you doing that?
I think it was once I was making enough money to live.
Yeah.
That I go, well, yeah, I can fucking
be yourself.
I can do that now.
I say there's 3 stages of comedy, but there might be 4. But the 3 stages that I recognized when I started thinking about this in terms of like a structure, stage 1, they're tools. Whatever I have to do, to get laughs. I just want to get laughs. I just want to make them laugh. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing. Stage 2, things that I think are funny. Like what makes me laugh. I would like to see this guy live. If I was a person who would like when I was a amateur comedian and even aspiring, when I was thinking about being a comedian, I saw a bunch of people live, and I remember thinking how amazing it was to go see like Kevin Meaney live at Catch a Rising Star in Cambridge with my friend Diane DeRosa. Her and I were like sitting there watching this guy, and we were crying. And I wasn't old enough to do comedy yet. I was like 20. You know, I was like thinking about doing comedy, I think. And when you go back and you think about those days, and you think about what that feeling was like when you just wanted to see comedy, like that's what you want. You want to keep that. Have you kept that?
We just had this conversation with someone. How much doing comedy ruined comedy for you on so many levels. Like you're a fan of comedy before you start doing it yourself.
But
when you get into it, then you learn, oh, that's a hacked premise. Everyone it kind of ruins the illusion of.
But not necessarily. But then you see Dave Attell, and you appreciate him even more.
Exactly.
Even more, right?
Still
one of my all-time favorites.
I hate to do superlatives, but who's your favorite comic of all time? I always say Attell.
I have a list of them. You know, I love them all. It's just like, and you're on that list. There's no one person.
But when you do an interview, they need the worst heckler you've ever had.
Those interviews
the
can
best
suck
comic.
my dick. How about that? They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Listen, I'm too old to have the best or worst. You do that when you're 12.
Exactly.
When you've only seen 10 movies, you know your favorite movie.
What's your favorite color? Yeah. So there's 3 stages.
Well, there's still only like 7, so I can go with orange every time.
Are you colorblind? So there's 7 stages of comedy. There's like do whatever it works, do things you think are funny, and then ideas that you turn into funny. Like for me, one of the big ones was I was trying to figure out how they built the pyramids. And I'm like, maybe the dumb people just outfucked the smart people. Nobody was fucking the smart people.
One of my storytelling, like for an 11-minute bit, I think it is.
It's a long-ass bit.
Still one of the best. That and Ron White's, Drunk in Public.
Yes. I would like to go back. I also wish I could do that one again.
I do too, because,
and
I see this with a lot of comics that you've known over the years. when that was like getting toward like the best of that bit.
Yeah.
And by the time you recorded it, I remember like 3 pieces that were left out that were like just little tiny things that the general public, like, he didn't say that thing. It's kind of like Sean Rouse's tsunami bit. You know, Sean Rouse's tsunami.
I never heard that bit.
It's you can
Is it
find it on
available?
YouTube. With a big scab on his face on stage because the night before he had taken a header.
Oh.
He had done that so many times where he'd go on stage with a giant scab on his forehead or chin from when he had just fallen down blackout drunk the night before, that he had regular bits to do about scabs. Like he had a fallback.
He had I fell and hit my head bits.
Yeah,
Oh
like
my God.
long ones. But he had this bit about the tsunami, which is still one of my, that's in the top 3 favorite fucking storytelling bits about the Japanese tsunami, or the what other one, the Bangkok one.
Well, there was both. There was two of them.
His
the
bit was,
Bangkok one?
was the Bangkok
Right.
one.
He might have died before. No, he didn't die before
No,
the Japanese one. When did he die?
You know, he died right on time. He died a little late.
You know, he was a guy where I was like, man, there's people who have rheumatoid arthritis like he had that change a lot of things about their lifestyle and their diet, and they can mitigate some of the symptoms. But when I first met him, he was so fucked up. I remember thinking, I don't even know if I should like tell him about this stuff, because he, first of all, the guy liked to drink every night.
Yeah.
As a part of who he was.
And because of the arthritis, he was on so many meds that already depleted his fucking liver just to keep him alive, that he could have 2-3 gin and tonics and go from normal to I'm biting people. That was his thing. He would bite people.
Well, that's the only thing that worked well.
Tom Giannis, who was the head writer on the Man Show, right
He bit
after
Tom?
it ended. No, I'm playing one of the butt-fuck places like Fresno or Bakersfield, one of the Grapes of Wrath Town circuit. And so Shawnee, Tom Giannis rides his motorcycle up to watch the gig, and we're in some podunk saloon after the show, and Sean Rouse is fucking out of control, and he bites a lady. We're...
What the? I'm sorry for laughing at that, because I don't want that lady to get bit. But just the fact that...
And the bouncer comes
He did
over and
that.
he tells, I'm sitting in a different section. We don't see it. I'm sitting in a different part of the bar with Tom Giannis. And the bouncer, this giant fucking bouncer comes over. Listen, you guys got to go. Your friend just bit a lady. And Tom Giannis said something snarky and smart fucky. And the bouncer looks at him, and he's sitting in a booth. He's a big guy. He's a biker guy, but like soft big. He's not the kind of guy that you would go, oh, I wouldn't fuck with this guy. He's dressed kind of bikery and slouching, and whatever he said snarky, the bouncer said, we can do this the hard way, we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. And Giannis, with his cherubic face, went, smiling, all right, if choices be, let's do the hard way.
He said that?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And then he smiled as he made the bouncer fucking manhandle him out of the bar.
Really?
Along with Rouse, and I was happy to go. I was shit-faced. I had just done a show. I was ready for bed. I didn't want to hang out and see the bright lights of
He really
fucking...
said the hard way?
Yeah. He looked it over like he's on the fucking Price is Right, guessing the fucking price of an auction. And he goes,
Wow.
we could do the hard way. I think he's trying to impress us.
I don't think there's a moment in my life where I would have said the hard way. I don't think a single moment.
Well, you've probably never been thrown out of a bar because you're probably well behaved.
I'm well behaved.
Have you talked to Giannis?
No, I haven't seen him in forever.
The last time I remember seeing Giannis, do you remember our gaffe on
What
the
gaffe?
first taping of the Man Show, where we were outside? I was smoking, so you're hanging out and tolerating me outside behind.
Tolerating you? What are you saying? I
Well,
love
just,
you. The fuck you
no, my
saying?
cigarettes. Like, you had to come talk to me because I'm always outside
I
smoking.
wanted to talk to you. Why do
I
you have
know,
to qualify it?
But we're talking
I like hanging
about,
out with you, Doug.
I was so adamant that
Jamie,
we
you feel me on this? This is bullshit, right?
you meant... I mean, anyone who has to always follow me outside because I
don't give a
always have
fuck,
to
dude.
smoke. Point being,
Point being.
we're talking shit about... I remember throwing a temper tantrum in the Man Show about this shouldn't be the opening fucking thing that you're putting out.
Yeah.
We're filming our first opening thing, and we go outside, and we're like, the Jesus gun? It doesn't even make sense. Because they had shit-canned all of our ideas that were kind of hard.
They were a little on the rough.
The ones that we laughed at.
Yeah.
And now we're doing the ones that we hope they laugh at. And we're talking about how shitty this one bit is and blaming the writers, which...
That's what you do.
Yeah. And we didn't realize... We were fucking mic'd, and Tom Giannis was on his headset listening to every word about fuck the writer's room.
Well, it wasn't.
And he came out sheepishly, I could hear everything you said, and Jesus gun, because it's incongruous, so that's... He tried to explain, but our relationship was always suspect after that. He accepted our apology, but it probably hurt him.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He didn't get along with Joey, though. There was a thing with him and Joey.
But cut to, last time I saw him, you had come to my show at some rock and roll bar in Hollywood.
I realized then I never want to do a stand-up show.
Yeah, no, that's how...
The whole audience had a stand-up. Like, my
sucked.
fucking knees hurt.
I know, and we've stopped doing that.
Yeah.
But
who
we all got together to go
Jim
to...
Norton. Sorry.
Oh, we all went to, what's the deli on Fairfax? Cantor's or something?
Yeah, Cantor's.
Yeah, there was a bunch of us, 5 or 6 of us, and but Tom Giannis had kind of lagged behind, and then we all got to Cantor's and went, did anyone tell Tom we're going? I think we're all going fucking breakfast after the show, dinner, late night food, and no one noticed Tom had run off to piss. And I'm like, still to this day, I feel like he thinks we ditched him on purpose.
One of the things I really respect about that dude, Tom Giannis rode a fucking motorcycle in the rain.
I just did fucking Adam Carolla's podcast. Who, again, I always think...
Why are you talking while I'm smoking a cigarette? People are going to know.
Which was the first time. The only time I'd ever met him was right after our version of the Man Show gratefully died.
How dare you?
I was doing Stern, and he was coming off as the previous guest as I was going in, and I just looked at him. I go, hey, sorry for ruining your show. And he goes, I don't care about that. That's more of Jimmy's thing than my thing.
Jimmy had a thing because he felt like he was wronged economically. And I don't know what's right or what's wrong, so I will not comment. But I love Jimmy. And as much as Jimmy has been, maligned, and I'll tell you what, when I met that guy, like in real life, Jimmy Kimmel's a sweetheart. I love that.
Yeah,
I
can't imagine he's anything but.
I can't imagine. I don't give a fuck what words have ever come out of his mouth. I like that man's essence, and when I'm around Jimmy Kimmel, I realize he's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy.
Never met him, but I did.
He's a
finally,
great guy. And so is Adam.
A month ago, I did Adam's. I finally got to meet Adam.
That's the first time?
Yeah, it was the first time, and it was fucking
a month
great.
ago?
Yeah, when I was doing the Comedy Store, I did a bunch of Fitzsimmons. I did his podcast. I fucking love Fitzsimmons.
I love him to death. Fitzsimmons and I started out a week apart from each other.
I just filmed a movie where I'm starring in it, so you're not going to be seeing it in theaters. But I thought I'm playing, guess what? A washed-up 55-year-old alcoholic road comedian, chain smoking, who's dying of liver failure. Who'd have guessed they thought of me first? So there's a guy that's playing a comic friend that I haven't seen in 17 years. And Michael Biehn, I told you last time, he's now my neighbor and buddy. He's the guy from Terminator and what.
Right.
He goes, just let me read the script. I'll see if it's good. And then he read it, and he goes, I submitted myself for this part of your old comic friend, like triple gig road comic friend from 17 years ago that stinks, but he's still doing it. And I'm like, well, this is cool. And they're like, Michael Biehn really wants to do this? Michael Biehn at the last minute got cold feet. You don't have a script supervisor? I've never in 40 years gone to a film. I'm like,
who's Michael Biehn? Show me a picture of this guy. I think I know who he is, but I might be incorrect.
Terminator, The Abyss, The Rock, fucking
like Head On.
Yeah, Aliens.
Oh, he's been in everything.
Yeah, he's been in the fucking
He's
everything.
your friend?
Yeah, he moved to Bisbee.
Michael, come on my podcast.
Oh, he would. Like I've
Please.
had him on my
Please.
podcast.
Please come on mine.
He's fucking hilarious.
I'm sure he is. If he lives in Bisbee and he used to be an alien.
He also lives sometimes in L.A. And I'm like, I would have you as a co-host for my podcast. He's that funny, but like he can't remember any references. So when you talk to him, we play trivia. Like, and he was in the movie, the guy with the dog, the slobbery dog, the guy
Cujo?
from. No. He guessed Cujo, the Tom Hanks one.
Oh yeah.
Whatever.
What was the Tom Hanks one? The dog? Clifford.
Turner and
Turner and
Hooch.
Hooch.
The point is, you guess like that. You guess Cujo, I guess Turner and Hooch. Yeah, Turner and Hooch. And who's the guy that's in QAnon and he eats baby's blood? Tom Hanks. So you're always playing trivia with him, and he's so hilarious to hang out with.
Tom Hanks.
I go, hey, Michael P., when did you quit drinking? He goes, I think it was like somewhere between the stroke and the heart attack. And he's fucking, and I like him so much. What was I don't remember.
There's a
my
lot of
point
people
in
like
this.
that that are misrepresented.
How did this
He's
get?
in your movie. You want to be in it?
Oh, so he was going to play this part in the movie.
He got cold feet.
And then, so
Yeah.
at that point, Bobcat is we're filming outside of Chicago. And
Bobcat Goldthwait?
Yeah, Bobcat.
I love Bobcat.
Because, sorry, Michael, I know you're listening, but yeah, it got to a place, this was such a fucked production as every independent movie is with fucking, we didn't
Yeah.
get the permit we were supposed to get, so now we're going to try to pick up a shot over here. And so Bobcat had just gotten a hold of me, and I'm like, Bobcat can play this fucking part easily. Bobcat, I sent him, hey, this probably pays as little as legally as allowable, but it's 2 days of shooting, and he wrote back, if I had a nickel for every time I had to replace Michael Biehn in a motion picture, I'd love to do it. I'm like, that easy. 30 minutes later, fucking recast with someone with a name.
Not only that, but Bobcat is a legend.
Yes.
I love Bobcat Goldthwait, and Bobcat.
Windy City Heat is one of the best movies
I never watched
ever.
it because I feel bad about that dude. That dude was always at the Comedy Store. I'm like, he needs medication. But Bobcat has the best Bigfoot movie of all time.
Oh, I haven't seen
It's called
that
Willow Creek. It's a legit, non-funny horror movie, and it's fucking fantastic. It's
the
really
one
good.
he did about everything we fantasize about is killing every
Yeah,
reality
yeah.
star
Yeah.
douchebag. That was great. American something.
What was that?
He'll find it.
Bobcat is the shit. But I'm telling
fucking
you,
one of the best people.
Willow Creek. Willow Creek is the best Bigfoot movie that's ever been made. You think about a legend that everybody knows about. There's a giant hairy ape that lives in the woods, the Pacific Northwest, and someone got it on film in 1969. Bobcat Goldthwait made the best version of that ever. You don't even see the thing. I don't want to say that. I should have said that. Spoiler alert. It's fucking great. It doesn't matter. It doesn't
I will
matter.
watch it.
It's like Blair Witch Project style, like where it's people that are going there and they're like joking around, documenting. God bless America. That's
Yeah.
it. Who's the other dude?
I don't know who they were, but
They were
It's-
awesome.
it's
Who are those
everyone-
people? Who are
every-
those
any-
actors? Because they were amazing.
they were. But I don't think they have names.
They're human beings. They're someone's baby. Who are the people? Joel Murray. Tara Lynn Barr. Both of you guys fucking killed it. That was a great movie. But it's like, that's
Bobcat jumps on the fucking.
How about
role.
Shakes the Clown?
Hey, wait, Bobcat takes the role. I've solved everything. I'm the fucking hero for calling Bobcat and getting him to agree after everyone's panicked that how are we going to recast this when we're shooting in 4 days. Bobcat gets COVID, has to duck out.
Oh, no.
So then we're running through a list of names, and I said Greg Fitzsimmons. And this guy who was scheduled to be like a bit actor, a waiter that says, everything okay, here's your check. That's all he had to say. But he's a comedy fan that flew out from L.A. He goes, I just DM'd Fitzsimmons on Twitter. He says he's available. Like, well, you kind of jumped your fucking, in our strategy session, you overheard, but it worked out beautifully. And he plays a comedian friend that I haven't seen in 17 years.
Perfect.
Where I haven't seen him. I go, I did the math. Yeah, Man Show is 2004, so you're literally playing yourself my ex-girlfriend that I go back to find from 25 years ago. Do you remember Christine Haas?
Yes. Yeah.
She.
You told me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You told
She
me this whole
played
story. Yeah. It's awesome. She plays your love interest.
Yeah, it was like
Perfect.
everyone was playing themselves. It was fucking great.
It's perfect. When does this come out?
Posthumously.
I'm telling you, if you want to get scared, Willow Creek. It's a shit. It's a really good movie. And I love Bobcat, but Bobcat is...
Shakes the Clown.
Bobcat
the opening
is-
scene.
One at a time. Bobcat is all in on Willow Creek. He's all in on Bigfoot. He really believes Bigfoot's real.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Bobcat is an atheist until it comes to Bigfoot.
And you're not mocking him because
I love him.
both
love
you and
him.
I have believed some really dumb shit
I believe
that it took
Bigfoot.
us
I
20
believe in
years
Bigfoot.
to fucking go.
I'm not sure I let any of it go, but I believe it. I believe in Bigfoot. I believe Bobcat. Unfortunately, he believes in the Patterson footage, and the Patterson footage as like real. There's like you can connect the dots and see that it's bullshit.
I thought that's the legendary one that
Well,
Hedberg made the joke about.
Yeah. Bigfoot's
Maybe
blurry.
maybe Bigfoot is blurry, which is way more scary. There's
the
an
way-
out of focus monster out there.
By the way, Hedberg on David Letterman said, there's a friend of mine that is a big fan. I'm
I
paraphrasing.
played tennis with my good friend
Yeah.
Doug. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was his first
No,
one.
no, not Doug. Brian Hersey. He's
Oh,
like
okay.
he mentioned Brian Hersey randomly on Letterman.
He all of
for-
his bits.
for fun.
Dufresne party
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
That was an actual person.
Yeah. I loved him, man. I mean, you remember when we were on the set of Man Show and you told me that he was dying because he had gangrene because he was
No, we were filming
we were filming something.
some kind of like the lead-in
Yeah,
things.
that's what I'm saying.
And we were riffing, and I said something about amputee porn.
No. You pulled me aside. You just got a phone call.
Yeah, but we had just said something about amputee porn or amputee something in a take that we go, they'll never use that take. We were riffing. And then right after that, I got a call from Don King. Rest in peace. Don King was the king of Austin titty bars. He was like,
He died?
yeah, I was supposed to come out right after I did your show last time. They had a memorial for him a week later. I'm like, I just did that drive. No, I got one over here. You're
Neat
double
motherfucker.
fisting me.
Neat. Get in there.
How many
Anyway.
people would pay?
drank this
how many
whole
people
bottle.
would give a right leg? Speaking of amputees, to get double fisted by Joe Rogan.
Daddy's not driving.
Well, do you drive anymore?
No, well, not
Aren't you like
tonight.
fucking Johnny Depp, where you always have a driver?
Occasionally. I
Fucking-
have drivers occasionally.
Johnny has all sorts of muscle cars like you, or at least one. And I
Right.
go, when's the last time you actually drove a car? Well, there was one time. When? I don't really remember, but yeah,
I drove here.
I know.
I maintain being sober a good percentage
We have a fucking
of
show
the time.
tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good time.
And fucking Roseanne's coming.
Yeah, don't tell anybody. Well, it'll be after the fact.
I'll tell
One
you.
of the beautiful things about this show is Doug Stanhope. We don't even advertise. No advertising.
I know.
No, it's all word of mouth.
I
It
know.
sells
You,
out in
you know
5
who you
minutes
don't
every week.
advertise to? Me.
I told you.
You told me.
You don't remember.
No, I have the text feed. I go, am I being crazy? Well, last time, like I'm coming out here and I'm like, all right, just tell me, I'll show you the fucking text message. I go, okay, I'll be there Sunday night and leave Wednesday. Just tell me the details of where and when to be.
This is
and
what's
you wrote
wrong.
back, that's so cool, fantastic. I can't wait to see you. With none of the details. I don't know if I'm doing the
We're
podcast
fine.
or the show.
We're fine. We're fine. We're here.
I know.
We're here and we worked it out.
I know.
Carrie Mitchell had to text me. She said, this man needs
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
picture she took.
Yeah, she said he needs a where and when.
Like I don't know how much time I'm doing. I don't know if I should promote the
It
gig.
matters nothing.
I know it doesn't
means
matter
nothing.
now.
The best thing is to get into the state. We could just be Doug Stanhope, and I go, Doug Stanhope, you're on, and just push you onto the stage.
And to get me into that state, I have to know
Incorrect.
what time I should
Incorrect.
not be
No.
shit-faced like
no,
I was
no,
last
no,
night.
No. This is the
Don't
way.
take 50
Cheers.
milligrams.
Come on, take 175.
Don't
Let's
take
go
50
200.
milligrams and then have Joe Rogan go, show starts now.
Let's
Oh,
do
fuck.
mushrooms. Let's do mushrooms. Let's do.
Oh, I'm
the
scared
show
of 'em.
on-
I'm scared
Me
of 'em.
too. That's the point. Come on,
How long's
Douglas.
it been?
Yesterday?
I did do I
For me?
microdosed.
I'm doing them all the time.
All right.
Small amounts.
I don't want to exactly. I don't want to even say her name, but yeah, Carmen Morales.
What?
Yeah, she came out. She
What's
was.
her name? Don't say her name.
She's a comic.
Don't listen to me. If you don't want to say her name, don't say her name. Let's call her.
She would want her name to be
Boogie.
said.
No,
She wasn't dealing
She's
drugs.
giving you drugs.
Yeah,
Don't.
you've given me drugs.
Don't tell these fucking people.
Can you black out the Joe Rogan experience and just say the
Doug
experience?
Stanhope.
Allegedly.
Doug Stanhope. When the first time he and I did DMT, I was worried I lost him. I was really genuinely worried.
Oh my goodness!
You were gone.
Oh my goodness!
You had gone.
Oh my
like,
goodness!
You had gone to this snoring thing where I was like, do I lift him up so that he doesn't swallow his fucking tongue? I was like, oh my god, if I kill Doug, if the man show dies, because I give Doug DMT.
It was dying. By the way, that we knew we were writing the last monologues ever, and that's what fucked me up. We've told this story every time, I'm sure, on your podcast. But we were at your house writing. We know this is the last of the monologues, and they're fucking just pap dredge, fucking awful. What's up, guys?
It wasn't that bad.
But by the end,
it wasn't that
when
bad.
we know
it
it's
just,
fucking over and we're beaten.
Yeah. Well, there was some.
Last time you want to smoke DMT, my first time, like, all right, this sucks, and we're just getting through this, and then you want to smoke DMT, and then I go fucking into alternate realities, and then I come out of it 10 minutes later saying, I remember, I came out of it just saying, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, because I've just learned the fucking...
You know what else you said? You said, you've already seen this. You said that to me. Oh, you've already seen this. You've already seen this.
I swear the picture of fucking Bill Hicks on your wall winked at me, and when I said that to
the
you...
one with him and the lighting the American flag with a cigarette.
Yeah, what you had a...
Lighting the cigarette with the American flag.
But I came out of it and I looked, and I swear Bill Hicks fucking winked at me. When I said that to you, you went, fucking, looked at me like cliche. But I swear that happened.
No.
I'm not even that big a Bill Hicks fan.
You were just insecure because you had like experienced death, and you came back.
When I would go outside to smoke cigarettes from the writer's room on the lot after that, for a week, I couldn't make direct eye contact with the giant dumpster-sized electrical generator because I thought I could make it blow up with my mind. The wiring in my head was so... I've never done it since. People try to drop that off at the merch booth.
We should do it
never
tonight.
again.
We should do it tonight.
Fuck no.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, when
man.
I'm
You're
about
okay.
to when
You're
I'm gonna
better.
quit smoking cigarettes.
You're
yeah,
better
that
now
would be.
because of that day.
I don't know.
Yeah, you are. You know why? Because you know that that's possible. You didn't know that that was possible.
But it's hard to break up. Okay, I'm going to write a bit about this that now I know is dog shit and means nothing because I've been through that experience. Where you go, this is all so fucking, life is so silly, but you still have to make a living by...
But Doug, just express that. You don't have...
I've been doing that.
But I know you have, but don't worry about that. It doesn't have to be dog shit and silly. It's you. You don't think about that. Think about you. Think about if you were like some 24-year-old guy working in a fucking newspaper distributor office. You had a bullshit job and you're allowed to listen to podcasts and you listen to you talk about your experience. Don't worry about like your own fucking weirdness in handling it. Worry about what it is. What it is like you died and came back. Like you really felt like you died and came back. When you came back,
I didn't feel like I died.
You said
I
to
felt
me,
like I knew.
You said to me,
Hearsay, Your Honor.
this is what you said. You said life eats life. You said life just eats life. Life eats life. Life eats life.
Wow.
This is what you said. When you were coming out, you were like, life just eats life. Life just eats life. It just keeps going. It keeps going. Life eats life. Life eats life. I'm just trying to hang on. Life eats life. Life eats life. It's like, you've already been there. You've already been here. You've already been here.
Ultimate
And then you're like,
knowledge.
you took me to this place. You've already been there. I'll never forget that because I thought you were going to die. And I was like, God damn it. Nobody's ever died from this shit. I'm like, if Doug's the first guy to die, I'm like, he's like, maybe I like overestimated the RPMs that his fucking engine can handle and redlined. But you got through it, and that was the thing you kept saying. Life eats life. Life eats life. Life eats life.
But the dichotomy of having to go from that supernatural experience in 10 minutes and then go back to, oh, wait, now we really have to try it, finishing up these dumb monologues.
Yeah, but that's okay,
Like,
too. That's okay, too, because that's a unique challenge. That's like some weird thing we're doing. Like, what are we doing? You know, the only reason I ever did that show is because of you, 100%. Like, they brought it up to me. We got to get some more.
Lighter.
Hold,
Oh,
please.
sorry.
Oh, here. Or this one.
I must have it. Yeah.
They said to me, like, you know, we, Adam and Jimmy are not going to do the Man Show, and we would like you to host it. You know, who'd you like? And they brought to me a bunch of people that I don't want to name. And then they
I'll tell you who I had to co-audition with. You couldn't do the Man Show until NBC gave you the out. So you were always on
weird.
hold, on waivers. You were,
By the way, shout out to NBC for letting me fucking do that. I don't know why they even let me do that.
well,
I don't know why they let me do that. But the only way I would do it was with you. I was
in
like,
the meantime, though,
yeah.
they had 10 comics that you had to audition with separately. Okay, you guys, now we're going to pair you and you up, and you write a monologue and then have one sketch prepared, and you do it in front of a fake audience of like 19 homeless people that we could lure in here for $5. But so Dane Cook was one. I love my history with Dane Cook. Never a fan of his comedy, but I'm not a fan of most comedy. But we did fine. We coexisted.
Right.
Patrice, I got hooked up with Patrice. And as we're going back to the room to try to write a monologue and a sketch, he just looked at me not pleasantly and said, I don't work well with other people. And I was like, this is going to be tough.
oh, no.
And then Ralph
Did
Garman.
you know
it was
Patrice before that?
I had seen him, met him at just peripherally at the Chicago Comedy Festival. So no, I didn't know. Oh, that's what he
Yeah,
does.
he was joking around. Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
But he
does-
was. He was.
Most
and he wasn't.
comics don't work with other comics. We do our own shit. And if you have to work around another comic, it usually sucks unless you have some Jeff Ross, Dave Attell chemistry
Right.
where you can ride the ride. But Ralph Garman was the other one. So when it
I
was
love Ralph, too.
when you had just
K-Rock.
gotten approved, if you hadn't gotten the okay from NBC, it was going to be either me and Dane Cook or me and Ralph Garman. And then you get the thing. You go, no, Stanhope or no one.
Yeah, because they were like, woo. They gave me like a whole list of people. I go, get. I go, Stanhope. That's it. There's Stanhope or no one. And they were like, are you serious? I go, yeah, I don't want to do this unless it's Stanhope. If you bring me Stanhope, I go, we got a project. And then they called you, and you said yes. And then they called me, and they said Stanhope said yes. And I'm like, okay, we're on. And they were lying to us through their fucking teeth. They're like,
yeah, that's
you could do
fucking
nudity,
terrible.
we'll blur it out, you could swear. They go, we want to get sued. That's what they said to me in the meeting, but you weren't there. They said, we want to get sued. If we get sued, it'd be great. I go, Stanhope,
liars.
we're going to get sued. I go, he's the animal. I go, this is perfect because I have so much obligations already with Fear Factor that I knew that Stanhope would be able to take care of it.
I'm trying to dig a layer deeper because we always talk Man Show stories and probably we always tell the same ones.
The thing about what we did on the Man Show is like, if you could do that, both of us don't want to do that now, but if you could do that where no one would tell you what to do, where no one would tell you like what's funny, what's not funny, just let you do it. Just leave the funny to the funny people. But the problem is, if I was running a fucking network and I was running Comedy Central or NBC or anything, HBO Max, and a bunch of wild fucks like you and me were just like, gonna go crazy and say a bunch of nutty shit that's gonna get us sued and get us in trouble, I wouldn't do that either.
No,
No, fuck
I
that.
understand.
I understand too.
Yeah, they had you know what? I could make TGI Fridays better. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be TGI Fridays
Right.
and no one would show up.
Exactly.
Someone just asked me, hey, we should write a movie together. I can write the format and you come up with the ideas. I go, no one would want to see a movie that I would want to write. I get that.
That's not true. You have like this like weird like embracing of humility that I think is admirable, but also it's like you're saying this to the shitheads.
Self-sabotaging is, but generally what I laugh at is things that other people don't laugh at. The few songs I like, because I'm not a music guy.
You hate music.
Yes, I do. And
How's that possible?
Well, because I'm not going to burn a bit, because I just came from Key West, where every fucking bar you go past has a single act guitar guy going, "It's a marvelous night for a moon dance." And I'm like, finally, this is giving legs to that thought, and now that's these fucking notes on my hand. I'm writing that bit.
What are you writing on your hand?
More bits, because Austin is also a music town.
You write notes in your hand?
Yeah.
What are you, cheating on a test?
I lose pieces of paper. If I wake up and I lost my hand, I'm not going to worry about how good the joke was.
You have a phone? Do you write on your phone?
No, I am going to die. And as I go through that same DMT experience, I'm going to realize all the shit I could have done on a smartphone where I just quit at texting.
But I
just showed your fucking doctor, Dr. Mercy.
Yeah.
I just showed her how to do Wordle. And she's going to be addicted. She goes, "Does this come in an app?" And I go, "Probably. But I can Google on I don't do apps. I don't do anything."
But you text.
Yeah.
You use maps? Do you use maps? Do you use navigation?
Well, when I do Uber, I have Uber on my phone.
What about like Waze? Do you drive?
No, Chaley drives. When you get to be my age, you're going to know.
Aren't we the same age?
Are you February or August? August. So no, you're not like me. I'm now a senior citizen.
How old are you? 55?
55, and that means I get 10% off at Goodwill on Sundays and Mondays, and I can order off the senior menu at IHOP. And one day in August, you're going to appreciate these perks in life.
Damn, I get some perks in just a few months. How weird is that when we were kids, 55 was dead? You were a dead man.
That was the legal age of retirement, I think,
over.
back then.
No, 65, right?
No, it kept growing with us. I think it was 62.
There's a legal age?
But
what is that?
I don't know if it's a legal age.
It's legal at IHOP, and IHOP is the only rules I recognize. This is a nation of law and order, but IHOP is an international.
What does it say?
It's 55 across the
rule of 55, IRS provision that allows workers who leave their job for any reason to start taking penalty-free distributions from their current employer's retirement plan once they've reached 55. Wow.
You might as well be explaining cryptocurrency to me. I can't read those big
it's
words.
It's an NFT.
Yeah, you know me.
It's one of those things where it's like, who's 55? Like, you know.
It's all Social Security stuff. Especially this says you have to be 66 in 4 months.
I'm glad you didn't Google that and have Sammy Hagar come up.
I can't drive 55.
But now I can. Now that I'm old, I drive like an old person. I get behind the slowest moving fucking semi truck.
You just chill
on my on the one part of freeway I have to be on, driving from my house to the airport, and I'm like, I like going slow.
Yeah,
I'm scared.
When you were younger,
I'm scared of things.
You wanted to get there quicker, but sometimes I still want to get there quicker.
What would George Washington think being stuck behind a semi truck, going 10 under?
Imagine if George Washington could be in a Tesla. Realize how fast you could drive.
I got into this like fascination that it's unexplorable about those fourth world countries that still exist, like where tourists can't go there. They still live Stone Age lives. These are tribes that have never heard of Trump or Kardashians, much less. George Washington was ahead of their time.
Right.
Like Papua New Guinea, I think.
Yeah.
There's a few, and in the deep Amazon.
Yeah.
And I'm so fascinated. I've tried to write bits, but they're not funny.
I got a bit. You'll see it tonight.
About that?
Yeah.
Fuck you. You always beat me.
How dare you? I read things about those folks because I
Yeah,
always
but there's
wonder
not
what it
much
would be
to
like.
read.
Yeah, there's plenty. I'll send you some stuff.
All right. Well, it's too late. You already got the bit, asshole.
I'll show you tonight. It's
The Senegalese, I think
yeah,
is one
there's
of them.
that. The Papua New Guinea people are really interesting because there's a group called the Seaman Warriors of Papua New Guinea, and it's like a ritualistic.
He said semen.
No, it's a ritualistic child molestation organization that they've developed on this island. It's crazy. So you pull that up. Seaman Warriors of Papua New Guinea. They
Are
they
these the
have
ones
this thing. Look
that
at
killed
this.
the Christian?
No, that's the North Sentinel Island.
That's
what I'm talking about on
Sentinelese, all right.
stage. The Sambia tribe in Papua New Guinea have tradition that has fascinated and confused many. They are the tribe that drinks semen to turn boys into men, and we bring you everything you need to know about them. Click on that. There's a tribe that has somehow or another ritualized sexual abuse of young boys. And they call the father like
Catholic
kids-
Church. Zing!
No, it's even
I'm
crazier.
just talking to all the hacks that are
Yeah.
listening, going, why didn't they go with the Catholic Church joke?
In the first stages, a sharp stick of cane is inserted deeply into the young boy's nostrils until he bleeds profusely.
Oh,
the young
Christ.
boys are also introduced to older warriors who are told that bachelors are going to copulate with them to make them grow. Throughout much of the 6 stages, I'm so hammered right now.
No,
The
but
act of
I'm just
having a
saying. I'm
stick-
just thinking that's a lot to type into a YouPorn search engine.
It's a lot.
What you're reading.
I don't think they have videos. The act of having the stick of cane inserted into the nostrils and then the performance of, in quotes, fellatio are integral to the process of becoming a man. So you have to suck a dick to become a man. While the former practice is often derided by many as inhumane, in quotes, and the latter is often referred to as homosexual, in quotes, behavior, the Sambia's understanding and purpose behind these two processes differs from our conventional understanding. It's so insane.
Well, also, like that would first of all, homosexual in quotes. That's not.
This
I
is
would-
pedophilia. It's different.
I know,
Like,
but there's a point where they go cane in the nostril that can cause diabetes, and diabetes affects 66% of the.
I think they were sticking sticks up dudes' noses to keep them like uncomfortable so they would suck a dick. Additionally, the act of performing fellatio and the act of ingesting semen is seen as an integral part of manhood because boys are unable to mature into men unless they ingest semen, and they adhere to the notion that all men have, in quotes, eaten the penis. What's the website? Pulse.org.
It actually says that NG, so it's like
That's kind of like
dude, it's a-
Jesus-y. Yeah,
it's-
eat this thing
but
for it is my body.
But it's a
It's my dick.
like,
Burn.
here's the thing, like when you talk about Catholic priests, right? the weird thing about when grown men sexually molest boys is that those boys, at an alarming rate, sexually molest other boys.
Oh my God. This is twice you've led me into something where I go, this is one of my favorite jokes, but I'm not burning my fucking act. You'll hear it tonight.
I'll hear it tonight. But you know what I'm saying? It's like it's like a vampire thing. It's like imagine you can bite a person, that person becomes a vampire. If you molest a person who's young, that person becomes a molester. It's almost like that. And this whole island is like
It's one of my favorite bits. I'm
it's
just
a
biting
vampire
my tongue.
island. Vampire Island. And
Actually, it's the same bit you've almost led me into twice, and one was from an hour ago.
oh, look at this! Imagine sticks up your
Yeah,
nose and then
fucking
you suck
Dr.
your cock.
Mercy just did this to me outside just to be in here. They did the same thing. Now do I have to suck your cock? Because I've already had the cane up my nose.
You suck Jamie's cock and I live stream it.
This Jamie or Jamie Kennedy?
This one.
We
The
can't
funny one.
sell a fucking sex tape with this Jamie. Jamie Kennedy and Doug Stanhope, D-listers at best, but sucking each other's cocks. They're going right up to a B.
Jamie Kennedy, no jokes aside, had a great documentary on about hecklers.
Yeah, I remember that. You were
you in
in
it?
it.
Were you in
No, I never.
was good.
Never. They never invite Rudolph to those reindeer games.
Jamie Kennedy is a fun follow on Instagram too.
It was
He's
a
funny.
great documentary until he got into the part where he's accosting reviewers who didn't like Malibu's Most Wanted. That's like
really?
Kevin James going, you know what? Say it to my face that Paul Blart Mall Cop was bad. Say it to my face. Well, it was bad.
Paul Blart's a good. If you have 5-year-olds, it's a good movie.
I don't.
It's a funny movie. It's like physical. It's one of those.
I watched it. I didn't
Yeah.
hate it.
th-
But Malibu's Most Wanted.
I'll tell you what. Jamie Kennedy Experience. Remember that?
I love hidden cameras so much.
So good.
The
He's the best
Impractical
ever.
Jokers, I watched. Now they're at 10 seasons, and I record. That's my only thing that I watch DVR'd that makes me laugh through a fucking Sunday marathon hangover. I know I've seen this 18 times. I watch every episode. I laugh every fucking time. Some people might think it's soft, and you suck because those guys are genuine. Shitty hidden camera because I'm a fucking love hidden camera. Remember Dom Jolly? What was Dom Jolly's?
What is this, Jamie?
The Jamie Kennedy Experience.
Let me tell you something. Jamie Kennedy had the best hidden camera show the world's ever known. Let me tell you right now.
I'll put it up against.
I don't know what the fuck happened on Candid Camera. I was too young.
I loved it.
I'm sure it was great. Jamie
Yeah.
Kennedy, the Jamie Kennedy Experiment. It's the best show ever.
No.
In terms of like hidden camera shows. Have you
It's
seen it
not
all?
as bad as what's Ashton Kutcher
Did you
punked.
It's better. Did you see Guys Gone Nuts?
Oh,
It was Girls Gone Wild, but with guys. They had Guys Gone Nuts, and they talked to these guys and doing gay shit.
wait, we did that.
No.
We
No.
did the hidden camera with the heavy metal band on the Man Show.
No, Jamie
There was
Kennedy.
a time the fucking producers had to come to the writers' room and they had to draw straws up at the production company to tell us who's going to tell them you have to stop doing so much gay shit. You can't keep telling the audience they're gay.
Well,
All right,
Guys Gone Nuts. Jamie Kennedy had this thing where it was Girls Gone Wild was in its peak of stardom, and these guys were going to get famous, and they were like, whoa, we got picked. I can't believe this. And Jamie Kennedy is like the host of Guys Gone Nuts, and he starts explaining to these guys that they're going to have to do gay stuff. And they all agree, slowly.
We did that America's Next
Look at
Triple
this.
X Star, and a guy.
Give me some volume. Yeah, we did. Now they're nervous. They're on stage. It's a gay tape, dog. It's a gay tape, he says.
After watching that tape, I don't think it's guys going nuts. I think it's guys going bananas.
Coming up.
The reason I brought you guys up here is because I'm looking for a few gay ambassadors.
It all depends on what I have to do.
Thank you very much. He's in. We're going to get ambassador.
And later.
Every day at around 3 o'clock, my best friend Michael.
Of course, it's in
I was just
Austin.
gonna say that too. Of course they made it.
Keep going. Sorry.
Right here in this hotel.
Back it up. Back it up. What did he say?
My wife.
What did he say?
In this hotel.
But back it up so we can all hear
Around
it.
3 o'clock, my best friend Michael. My wife. Right here in this hotel.
So what time is it?
Jamie Kennedy.
I
Go back
watched
to
the new
that.
Jackass.
How was
Have you
it?
seen it?
No, I haven't.
It's fucking. They're
heard-
all great.
I heard it's amazing.
They're all great. It was great, and I'm like, I don't think I would do 1 out of 10 of these.
Well, you're 55.
But
You're ready for retirement.
But when I watched both Borat and Bruno, I'm like, I wouldn't do. And I was going to put that out as a Twitter poll. What are you least likely to decline doing this bit? Like Impractical Jokers, I would do 80% of those. They're embarrassing and awkward, but there's not going to be a broken bone or So yeah, that's my Twitter poll from this podcast. Would you rather do any episode of Bruno or fucking Jackass? What
And
about you?
Doug Stanhope has spoken. Give me that little lighter. Toss that over. Thank you. What is this? Jackass Forever?
Non-spoiler for you, because you have to see it.
Would you be more embarrassed doing something awkward or physical? Like, would you rather get your nuts stapled to a fucking park bench or...
Good question. I hosted Fear Factor. I can't be embarrassed anymore.
Well, you didn't do the things. You get to gloat. There's a difference.
What is happening here?
They lock them together with the tarantula, and wherever the tarantula goes to has to get then bitten by it. But the funny part is who else is locked in this with him.
The other guy is a hardcore, like, lifer prisoner kind of guy that has been let out, and he's been in prison, but he hates spiders.
And so watching him deal with that is...
What's the other guy?
It's Aaron from Jackass.
That guy's?
Yeah.
Is that the prisoner?
No. You'll know the prisoner.
I brought this up to bring up this part. They locked him in a room with a bear. He didn't know the bear was going to be there. It was doing a lie detector test. They strapped him to a chair and then dump honey and salmon, and Johnny Knoxville leaves the room, and then a bear shows up.
Fuck,
It just scared
man.
the shit out of him.
What the fuck, man?
It's pretty. It's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. Like if you do it 5 times, 4 will be funny.
It's the way he commits to it and doesn't like cry and just like he does.
Like Johnny
he is
Knoxville
crying,
is permanently fucking catheterized from doing this for a living.
Yeah, this is what he put himself through on
What
that.
happened with Johnny Knoxville? Oh my God.
Yeah, he broke his dick a long time ago.
Yeah, and
Oh
he's
my
had
God.
a
Look at him in
catheter
the
for,
air. Look at him in the air. That's insane.
Like,
PETA demands animal scenes be removed.
Yeah, I don't know the scene that happened, but he got his dick broke, he said.
I demand you stop showing these scenes of animals kicking
abusing.
the fuck
That's
out of
one of your
idiots.
old bits.
Which one?
When animals attack and you root for the animals.
Yeah. Yeah. It's you shouldn't be there. There's one thing if you're like in the wrong place, you're in a plane crash, you get eaten by wolves. I get it. you got a honey on your dick and you're on a fucking movie.
Like Steve
Yeah, that shit. Would you
a speedo of bees?
Like I
no.
wish I could.
Look at him.
But it's like this. You can't even. You have to see it happen.
Steve-O's face. Look at his face.
Sacha Baron Cohen
Yeah.
would do the most uncomfortable things. So would you rather be physically abused or be in a place where everything inside of your guts is like, this is so fucking crazy? I think Sacha Baron Cohen is obviously funnier,
Yeah.
but that is like, you can't lose.
You should. No one should do this thing that he did.
Which one? Punch in the balls?
Oh, yeah,
by
you
Francis
probably
Ngannou.
know this guy.
It's
What?
not just punching
Francis
the balls.
Ngannou punching somebody in the balls
They're doing
on
a
Jackass?
Cup
Yeah,
test to see if
Aaron-
the cup would break.
Oh my God, that's
And
such a bad idea. That's so unsmart.
They didn't tell him that was who he was going to get punched by either.
Oh my God.
They said it was going to be a lightweight, and then Ngannou walks around the corner.
It's so crazy. Oh, that guy punches so hard on your balls. You might lose a ball. A lot of guys have
I know, it's
lost
fucking-
balls. Yeah. That's the thing about Jackass, right? Is that it's really happening. It's like those guys
Yeah.
are really getting hurt. Remember when Steve-O was in a tree and the lions were up in a tree with him? I'm like, you don't have any idea what those lions are going to do.
I know.
He has a
fucking
hat on.
crazy.
He's like a straw hat. He covers his head.
It falls into the category where people say public speaking is the number one fear. Well, did you measure that versus I might have my balls eaten by a lion?
Right.
They don't.
Right. Look at this. The lions are coming up the fucking thing, and they're holding on, and they're biting his hat. Do you know how fucking insane that is? They just decided they didn't want to eat him. It was just a random, maybe yes, maybe no. I don't want to eat Steve-O.
It's
They could have there was no
like
way.
you're talking about. Everyone has different parameters of
Yeah.
what terrifies them, and
Yeah.
public speaking, no, I'm
nothing.
not afraid of it because
all.
I'm pretty good at it, and
Yeah.
even when I suck at it, I don't care.
You're literally a professional.
Well, you're a professional. I remember the first time I got paid for comedy. I got $10. And I called my brother. I go, technically, I'm a professional now because I got paid $10. He goes, does that mean you get to take off the protective headgear and the oversized gloves? My brother's pretty funny.
How rude. He was diminishing your accomplishments.
That's why I haven't talked to him since 2016. I have no family left.
Well, at least it's not like Dane's brother. Stole
Oh,
all
yeah.
his money.
Yeah, he just borrowed.
He just hid it in his walls in case shit went sideways.
No, he would like overspend his fucking.
No, he stored it.
No, my brother was. Oh, you're talking about
yours.
them.
Dane's,
yeah, my
yeah.
brother. Yeah, he would just live outside of his means, which I've always lived on the cheap, which is why my shit's paid for.
Right.
And I don't. But like one time he would sneak drinking because his wife didn't want him drinking, and he'd drink in the basement and call me up. And one time he got blackout drunk, and we've all done this in my group, but as you woke up and you pissed on something you thought was a toilet. And he goes, I pissed on my wife's $2,000 laptop that she uses for work. I hate to ask you. I have a few people in my life I hate to ask you, but that always you've hated to ask me over and over for 10 years. He says, I hate to ask you, but can you help me? I got to replace this or it's going to destroy my relationship. And I'm like, I don't have a $2,000 laptop myself. Why would I pay for your wife's? Because you get drunk and pissed all over it thinking it was a toilet. I live within my means. I have a $600 laptop, so fuck
Could
you.
you fucking imagine thinking a laptop is a toilet? Like, was there a toilet on the screen?
No, yeah,
How fucked up are you?
Well,
It could be anything. It'd be a coffee mug, garbage can.
I will
Laptop.
give me Sean Rouse was
Bar.
Shaley once had to. Sean Rouse woke up. He had passed out before all of us. We're partying in a hotel room in San Diego, Ocean Beach. And Sean Rouse had thankfully fallen down because he was almost biting people. And then he woke up to piss. And we had ordered pizza. Sean Rouse goes directly with his eyes closed to the wrong side of the room and starts to piss on the air conditioning unit. And Chaley, the best tour manager ever, gets up and grabs the empty pizza box and puts it in front of his stream of piss as he tries to walk him towards the toilet.
Oh my God.
And those were just normal stories
Normal.
from the day.
Yeah, that's not like, you remember one time in 84? No.
The one time, no, that was
No, normal. Normal.
it's honest. I think it's been since our End of the World Part 2. People don't remember that was Part 2. Was the Trump election?
Original
that
End of the
podcast.
World was at the Wiltern, and that was in 2012.
That was the Mayan calendar one.
Yes, that was the Mayan calendar one. December 21st, 2012. It was Diaz, you, me,
Burr
Honey.
was hanging out.
Burr was hanging out. Burr came to just watch. And Honey. I didn't even know Burr was there until he was in the green room.
Where he was trying to, the same way I didn't go over and talk to fucking Chappelle when he's at a coffee shop across
Yeah.
the street. You
But
don't
Burr
need
was
to talk to
my
me.
friend already, but he just came because he thought it was cool. That's what a good
But
guy
he's,
Burr is.
Yeah, he's like that. I
Yeah.
don't want to bother people.
No, he said to me, he goes, I think it's fucking awesome you guys sold this show out. And that was in 2012. It was a big deal. It was like, he loved it because he loves Joey, and he loves me, and he loves you. And it was like, for him, it was like a big moment that we sold out the Wiltern for this wild show. Because that was at a time where most people were just doing theaters, or clubs, rather.
Yeah.
And to do like a theater in LA on like a big one, like the Wiltern on a specific date was kind of a fun, big deal.
Cut to 2016.
Yeah.
Where Bingo's in a coma. I just
Yeah.
ruined that show. But you guys
No,
were
you
very
didn't.
nice
you
to
did
me.
not. You did not.
Point being, ever since then, and I just the book I wrote was about that. Everything in one bookended year was fucked. From
Yeah.
Bingo and I went on the Impractical Jokers cruise, and I got drunk and fucked a stripper that she walked in on, and
Whoops.
and then everything, and that's when Amber Heard sued me in the
Right.
spring.
Yeah.
Like everything, and it ends with my wife going into a coma that she might not live through. And I said, fuck it, I'm still going to do that end of the world thing.
Yeah.
And fucking Marilyn Manson show.
Yeah.
It was,
And Hannigan was just bringing randos on stage.
yeah, because I couldn't
Hannigan was
control
like the
this.
manager of it. So like all of a sudden there's a new person on stage. Like,
And he was probably fucked up too.
yeah, for sure.
Point is, it was brilliant. Now I forget why I started this story.
End of the world.
Yeah, that podcast was probably the last time I stopped having stories. Like my fucked up stories. We stopped having big parties. Bingo can't have overstimulation after a traumatic brain injury, which was just like COVID was such a beautiful excuse to get out of shit.
Yeah.
I can't COVID. Yeah, I'm using COVID as an excuse. Yeah, Bingo's brain injury. We don't need to have fucking giant parties there anymore.
Well,
It was a beautiful way to get old.
giant parties are great if they're great.
I went to fucking Dave Chappelle's after party
Where?
the night after I saw him hanging out. I was putting my set together for the Netflix
Do
comedy.
you guys know each other?
He came to my Christine Hodge, that head of the class girl that I just talked about that starred in the movie. She was my girlfriend when I turned 30, and she threw me a surprise party at Farfalla. It was a bar that was near the Formosa or something. And she had got back then you had to write your telephone numbers down in a book. And
Right.
she called all these people that were in my book. I'd only worked with him once in Punchline, San Francisco. And he showed up at my 30th birthday party. Oh, fucking day. Like, surprise party. And just when I was just in LA, she was there. And she's like, I told her about Dave Chappelle and the tour buses that are taking pictures the wrong direction.
Right.
Dave Chappelle's right over there. She goes, does Dave remember that you guys were like really good friends? I go, we weren't good friends. You stole, like I worked with him once and I had his phone number and you called everyone in my phone list to come to this party. And I was as surprised as anyone that he was there. But it's weird to think he was fucking famous when we were kids.
Yeah.
That was 1997 is when I turned 30. And I'm like, oh, Dave Chappelle's here. And that was before the Chappelle show.
Way before. I met Dave when he was 19. He was
But he was
doing,
famous.
No, he wasn't back then.
Well, not as famous as...
No, he was unknown. When I met him, I met him in New York. He was doing Catch a Rising Star. He was really young. He was really funny. But he was so composed for someone who was that young. And then I hung out with him in Montreal a few years later, like maybe 2 or 3 years later. Maybe he's like 21. And he did street comedy where he took off his hat. And he said he put his hat on the ground and he did comedy for like just random people on the street, and they put money in his hat.
I really love that guy. And what he was doing during COVID, we could have done in Bisbee.
Yeah.
Because we do shows
Yeah, you could
at my
have done.
house. But I was like everyone that I knew was afraid of COVID.
Yeah.
I remember Bingo saying some guy stopped by and go, here, take a road atlas. You touched the same road atlas he touched. And the paranoia, I'm like, yeah, we're probably going to be fine.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Chappelle, we should have been doing shows like that at the Funhouse.
Maybe, but he had a lot of resources. He did. He had a lot of testing, and he flew people in privately. Like he didn't make any money. He lost money on all those shows, like a lot of money. But he.
I lose money picking up a bar tab, but,
but it's a lot
in
of money.
relationship
No, it's
to how much money you have.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. He lost a lot of money, and the way he did it was like he did it to make comedy alive again. He wanted to do comedy, and he did it outside in like a wedding venue, and it never lined up with me where I had the time to go down there, and it was over. It was over before I could go back to go to there, rather. But then we started doing shows in Austin. You know, he and I started doing shows in Austin like October of 2020, outside. You know, no people. We had done a bunch before. We'd done a few before. We did the Tacoma Dome in Tacoma, Washington. We broke the record for the attendance. We did 25,000 people together in the Tacoma Dome before the pandemic.
I know that you've either adjusted to do that, but you were always like me. I'm a club guy. I want to see the back row.
I'm still a club guy. It doesn't matter. Just do comedy. I'll bring you with me. You want to come and do an arena?
No,
It'll be fun.
no, I hate them.
You don't know. Have you done it?
I certainly wouldn't
Douglas.
want to do it as a fucking opening act.
Douglas, you wouldn't
I would
be an opening
suffer
act.
through it if I'm getting all the
would-
fucking gate.
Yes. If you want to do like 15 minutes or 20 minutes or even half an hour in the arena, you let me know. I'll have an opening act, warm everybody up, get everything cracking, and then you go up. It's fun. It's just fans.
I would
Douglas,
do that for
listen
the
to me.
story.
Listen to me. It's not for the story. It's 15,000 people who love you. It's okay. It's no different than 200 people or 300 people or 500 people. It's just a different. It's a different tempo.
I do 3,000 at the Hammersmith O2 in London.
Perfect.
That's the biggest, and I hate it because my fans want to talk to me.
Yeah.
And when they're 2,900 seats away, like, and they have that gibberish fucking accent,
That's
I don't know
okay.
what you're yelling at.
But that's a different thing. What I'm saying is like it's no different than any other kind of comedy. If more people have a chance to see you, that's better, and they enjoy it. They're happy you're there. They just want to see you. You do your shit. You have a good time. It doesn't matter if it's 200 people or 2,000 people or 20,000 people. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but you have to know how the inside of my head works.
I know how the inside of your head works.
No,
because it
you
works like the
don't.
inside. My head works the same way. I was very apprehensive about doing arenas, even doing theaters. I was like, theaters suck. Like clubs is the way to go.
Oh,
But-
did you finally bring out the Buffalo Trance?
Yay! Yeah, they're all good, dude. It's not Buffalo Trance. You're in a
is
trance though. You're in a Buffalo Trance.
It's not Canadian Club, which I buy in a plastic handle. So
You
if
get
I-
microplastics. That's why your balls are shrinking. It's bad for you.
Oh my balls! As my penis shrinks, it's going into my balls. How's your genitalia
It's
holding
okay.
up?
It's hanging in there.
Wait till August when you're my age, and
That's what I'm
it's going to be a
saying.
different story.
Dude, I'm like that kitten on that poster, like hang in there, baby. Like hanging
Friday's
on.
coming.
Yeah. You know that poster, the kitten? That's me.
Yeah, that
hanging in
poster that most of general voting bloc society still thinks is funny.
It's hilarious. I got up at 7 a.m. just to work out. That's me. Well, the one that I like is the one where it's hanging
It
there.
says
and
Friday's
it's on a
coming.
curtain.
In the Spencer Gifts
Hang in there,
version.
baby. Yeah. Spencer gives her.
Yeah. When you
How
used to
many
buy
hang-in-there's?
posters,
How many hang in there?
put Friday's coming.
Kitten?
Hang in there.
Oh my God.
It's hard to soar with the eagles when you work with the turkeys. Back when posters, before they became bumper stickers, and you go, oh, this person laughs at this every day, and I work hard at stand-up comedy. When this asshole fucking has a bumper sticker.
How many hang in there babies are there? This is amazing. I didn't know.
Oh, wait, you're almost my age.
Yeah.
Remember the one with the kid who had spaghetti on his head?
Yes.
What was the catchphrase of that?
Uh-oh.
Poster-
Spaghetti-o?
Poster, toddler with spaghetti on his head, kid with spaghetti on his head. That was huge comedy back.
That one?
No, poster. It was like, the first one over there. Why not?
Which one?
The first
Top
one.
left? Same guy. Same picture.
Oh, well, it's in color because that's how I had the
Oh.
why me. No, it's not the same picture at all.
Yeah.
No,
So-
look at the two side by side. I hate
Same.
to be wrong, Joe.
You're definitely
The
wrong.
exact same picture.
Exact. 100%.
The one my
That one and the one next to it, one's
Oh,
screaming
these-
and one's
Oh.
happy.
Well, which
we're
one
looking
you
at
like?
the other two. Yeah.
I'm saying it's not the same picture, and
No,
I
the
demand
same-
to be right.
That one is the same as that one.
Oh, okay. He showed the
Oh.
one beside it first, the screaming kid.
I think there's multiple.
Not as funny.
I
Not
think
as
that
funny.
someone hacked it up. Baby with spaghetti on head, photo by George S. How do you say that name? Trabant? Life Magazine, 1960. Wow. Wow. 1960. See, that's what I love about like old shit. Like if I look at like an old dresser, like it's from 1945, like what was it like when the people that were making this dresser, what was life like for them?
So into the 70s.
Give me another cigarette. I'm fascinated by people that were living back when there was no access to information.
You have a fucking Navy SEAL Team 6 worth of security out here.
I'm the number one podcast on the planet Earth.
I know.
don't know if
So
you know that.
fucking send them to go get a pack of spirits.
We're okay. I have to have security now. There's too many schizophrenics.
I know. I actually, when I came back from 18 months off, you never quit. You were still doing shows here and again, even secret shows. I did not do a show. And one of the bits for the first couple months, the first few shows I do where no one can hear you die, Mountain Time Zone, Flagstaff, Salt Lake, Wyoming,
Tacoma.
Montana. Yeah, it's just where they're just happy that anyone ever came, COVID or not.
Right.
And I did have a bit that I used you as an example about having. We're all fighting for the minds of the stupid.
What do you mean?
I don't know. That's why I dropped the bit. But we're all trying to convince someone that our opinion's right on some level. The first time I said it, it made sense.
Right.
On a podcast, and I go, I'll make this a bit. But how many stupid people can you tolerate? Like, I make a good living at a reasonable amount of fucking dummies.
No, you make a living off of rebels. You make a living off of people that don't want to do what they're doing, and they want to believe that this is temporary, and they're right. They know this it's not going to last. No matter what anybody says, and I don't care if you wear a bow tie, if you wear fucking shiny shoes, if you drive a Tesla, it's going to end. It's going to end, and you're going to die, and you're going to rot, and worms are going to eat your body, and bacteria is going to take over your organism. That's
Die
it.
at the end.
You die at the end. Period. And the structure that your parents subscribe to, and my parents subscribe to, and everybody before them did is incorrect. It's like a scaffolding. It's a thing you hold on to when you're walking, and you think that the rails are the guide. They're not. It's not. There's no guide. It doesn't make sense. It's life and death, and the only thing that's good is what feels good when you're a happy person and your friends are happy and you're enjoying life, and you just like can hope you can spread that energy out to other people so that when you pass, they spread it further, and when they pass, they spread it to other people, and all of us can elevate together. That's it. That's it. And it doesn't make sense, and it doesn't have to, because stars are dying, planets are fucking imploding, supernovas are happening.
You know what's not going to be on TMZ?
What?
Or fucking Buzz Vulture or fucking TMZ fucking dot scam fuck is that quote. They take you, they find these muckrakers, not just you. And I do have a bit about this, where just they try to find one thing you said to polarize people. And I, at one point, I was very high at home. I go, listen, it's taken out of context. I do nothing with my life, but I still think I don't have 3 hours to listen to a podcast.
Yeah.
But I know you, and I know that you're being taken out of context, but I was high, and I made someone in the room do the math. I go, how many podcast episodes has he done? And it's like 1,685. I go, times that by 3. This is how many episodes of the Joe Rogan podcast. It was like 231 solid days. You would have to listen to Joe Rogan to put him in context, where it's so easy to take 80 seconds and vilify you.
Yeah.
And then I go, thank God I'm making a decent living under the radar.
Yeah, but that's okay too.
I know, I'm very happy in my
But I mean, my side. I mean, people vilifying me. That's okay. If that's what you want to do. But you're just going to let people examine it. They're going to let people examine your prognosis, your interpretation. And they're going to decide, oh, you're being disingenuous. You're taking people out of context. If you want to take a person at the worst thing they've ever said ever and say that's you forever, well, that's nonsense, because that's not what people are. I would hope that every single person listening to this, watching this, is growing and learning every day. You fuck up, you learn, you get better. It's part of being a person. You're born confused and clueless. And slowly you accumulate experiences and information and revelations. And at a certain point in time, we would hope that you would be better than you used to be. And I think I am. I'm better than I used to be. But am I perfect? No. Am I better now than I was 10 years ago? 100%. Am I better than I was 20 years ago? 100%. Do I hope to be better from now in 10 years? Yeah, I do.
If you were as knowledged, and we've talked about this, I remember talking about it on a podcast where I read books so I can sound smarter.
But that's like being humble. The reality is I read books because I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know what someone else thinks.
And then
Including
put that
your
into
books.
your act.
Yeah. But it's like I want to know. It's not just my act anymore. It's like when I was young, it was my act because I wanted to make a living. I wanted to be good. And then once I got a living and I got okay, and now I want to know what do I think?
I remember when you once told me, and it's vivid, where, Bill Hicks would read Noam Chomsky and then like put a dick joke into it and say it on stage.
Yeah.
And I've said that in specials.
Sure.
Like I'm the guy that will call you stupid for not knowing what I just read yesterday and truly believed.
But it's a joke. It's like you're fucking around, right? And that's the thing about talking shit. And one of the things that Bill Hicks did is he exposed people to ideas that they weren't aware of before. I didn't know about Terrence McKenna until I heard what Bill Hicks said. 5 grams. He said, reach under your table. There's 5 dried grams, or what Terrence McKenna would say is a heroic dose. I'm like, who is Terrence McKenna? And I started reading Terrence McKenna.
And I read it because of you.
And then
Foods of the God.
Yeah, and then all of his books. And you listen to his lectures, and like, I heard Terrence McKenna, what he said when I first did DMT. I literally heard the words he said. He said, do not give in to astonishment. I heard that from like whatever the fuck the entities were. And it's like that's the thing about comedy is like you can just tell jokes, and you can also tell jokes that like lead you to think differently. And I don't think Hicks is the funniest guy ever, but I think Hicks is the most influential guy ever, because like
he's the guy that said things in a way like, if you have to listen to Lenny Bruce, it's unlistenable because he has the jargon of the day that it doesn't make sense. There's a few things, but I do understand where he was a groundbreaker. But Hicks,
well, that's our life. We were live.
I didn't laugh at Hicks a
lot. We were in Alive in '63 or '64 when Lenny Bruce was doing heroin and opening up for musicians and jazz bands and stuff like.
But the recorded stuff,
it doesn't apply.
It's that jargon.
Yeah.
Almost like,
man, you dig.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a
for
joke.
shizzy my nizzy was like, I don't know what that means.
That's it.
Yeah.
For shizzy my nizzy is like
people make up their own fucking
Well, he was
nomenclature.
Also no one existed before him. He's patient zero in the comedy war. He's the guy.
Typhoid Mary.
He's the guy. I have a ton of I have in my office. I have Lenny Bruce giving the finger. I look at it before I write. I do. I just like that guy's the first guy that ever like had whatever it was, whether it was heroin or just indignance. He just decided he wasn't buying into the cultural narrative, and he was the first guy. And he was the guy that like would say things on stage that was like commentary on situations.
Are
life.
there any N-words in the audience? I don't want to get you in any more fucking problems.
LOL.
Are there any wops? Any fucking kikes?
Yeah. He did that bit. He said, if you say that word enough, It won't mean anything anymore.
Yeah,
It
but
won't make
that's why
anybody
they're
feel
trying
bad.
to split us apart.
But it's not they, man. It's like people. It's like when you say
They're
they,
fake people too.
but it is a lot of fake people. It's also people that just want to be a part of the winning team. Like, this is what's going on. It's like people that attack and people that like jump in and people that like think that it's important to like speak their truth. And I know what they're doing, man. It's not all bad. They're trying to make the world a better place, and they're trying to establish themselves and their opinions as being valid. And they do it by criticizing people, and they do it by trying to diminish other people and minimize other people's opinions.
People like to fight.
But it's okay. It's okay, man.
Everything's fine.
It's okay. But I mean, it's okay. It's like that's a part of the process. It's like it's not bad. And some people think it is bad. They think they are your dire enemy, but it's not real. The reality is we're all...
Hey, buzz culture, fucking take this clip and put it out there. Hey, Joe Rogan does actually fucking make sense sometimes.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I know it doesn't
They don't have
matter.
to do it because more people are listening to this than ever
Sells tickets.
will read that shit.
Sells clickbait.
But it doesn't matter. They can do that. It's okay. It's not real. If you don't express yourself in an honest, objective manner, people are going to know. And if you have an agenda and you want to say Doug Stanhope is a piece of shit and he's a loser and he's this and that, that's not real to people that know you, right? It's the same as everything else. Like you can take an angle, and I cannot kind of understand your angle. If I was you and I was living in your life and I was watching this person is getting an undue, and if there's anybody that gets an undue amount of attention, it's fucking me. I'll tell you as me, it's me. But it doesn't matter.
Well, everyone knows it's you.
100%. But I don't care.
It's kind of still,
okay.
it's still creepy that you are the voice of.
It's bizarre.
Like
if you have known me for so many years, it's preposterous.
you've never.
I didn't try.
Except for once.
I didn't try. I didn't try to be this person. I literally didn't even ask for it.
You do fall for conspiracy theories at a higher rate than I do.
Yes.
Because a lot of times I followed you. But
Right.
one of the times, Dave Attell and Joe Rogan are the two people when we only talk like once a year on the phone.
But we text
Same
each
as
other.
Attell. But if I get the call, I go, do I have an hour and 20 minutes to talk? Because we don't talk that much, but we do talk. And one of the times, before you actually moved here, but that was the plan, we talked for over an hour. You talked mostly, but I didn't have much to say. But you told me, because I wrote it down, hear about this Wayfair? I wrote it down wrong. It was Mayfair or vice versa.
What's Mayfair?
That fucking QAnon conspiracy where they're selling. You look it up. Look it up.
What is Mayfair? What are you talking
Where they
about?
were pretending to sell fucking QAnon children through a fucking furniture.
Do you know this?
Wayfair,
Yeah,
Mayfair.
it's not Mayfair. It's
You-
Wayfair. You said it right
Wayfair?
the first time.
I told you about this?
There was a thing, a bunch of
you should,
a
because
bunch
you
of
had
online
just
posts
heard
with
it.
fake catalogs. They have very
Wait a
weird
minute, wait a
names.
minute.
You had just heard it, so I wrote it down, and by a week later, when I actually searched it, it had been debunked, and then that was before QAnon was a thing.
Doug. You're confusing me with somebody, for sure. I don't even know about this. 100%.
You had just heard about it,
No,
so
I-
maybe you discounted it an
I
hour
didn't hear
after.
about it until right now.
I'm very good at knowing what I remember. The
What
point
is what is this? What is this conspiracy?
ask Jesse.
Yeah, it's not. This was very popular like a year and a
Jamie.
half ago.
I said Jesse.
What was it?
There were a bunch of people online were like, wait, what's going on with these fake, they were calling them like fake posts for dresser drawers, like the 6 drawer, and they had a strange name attached to them, like a code name.
That was like some weird thing that I
And
saw on
that was sex
Reddit where there was a bunch of people that were
I'm not
pretending
blaming you.
that sex
I'm not,
trafficking.
yeah, you
listen,
should look it up because you had just heard about it.
But hold on, buy into this, or be clear about this. I did not buy into this. It's not like something that I thought was like they were sex trafficking by like selling like dresser drawers and shit. I was reading this thing off of Reddit. I go, have you read this? Like this is fucking
And you told
bizarre.
me to look it up.
Right, but I didn't say it like I believed in it. That's not one I believed in.
Okay.
If you want to say like Bigfoot, UFOs, you know,
fake moon landing.
Yeah, there's a
where
lot
you
of
made
those.
me watch a 4-hour VHS. And I'm like,
A funny thing
I'm
happened on the way to the moon.
This is 90s, but you're like, you gotta watch this,
Yeah.
and it's a double-decker VHS I rented, and I watched both 2-hour episodes, and then it was at the beginning of Google or Ask Jeeves where I went debunk, and I'm like, and then now I've spent 12 hours thinking that the moon landing is fake, and then I realized I don't give a fuck if anyone went to the moon.
Here's the thing about
my
the moon
girlfriend's
landing
dumping me.
Here's the thing about the moon landing being fake. Like, I think they could pull it off. I don't think they did, but I think they could.
Yeah, they absolutely could.
This is my position on the moon landing. If you want to tell me that it's impossible for the government to pretend that people landed on the moon, I say bullshit. If you want to say that people landed on the moon, I say probably. Yeah, most likely. Like, if you look at the science behind it, it seems like they landed on the moon. The problem is when someone lies about anything, it leads you to believe they're lying about everything. If someone treats, like, if you look at the time which, like, this was all going on, like, when Kennedy was president, they had proposed the Operation Northwoods, where they were going to blow up.
That's always been my fallback.
Yeah, that's a problem.
If Operation Northwoods is true, anything could be true, and that's definitely true.
Not only that, the Gulf of Tonkin that led us into the Vietnam War, it was all fake. There is a 100% reality about our
now
government.
I'm going to have to do a full
around.
hour to impress you tonight, and to state claim
have
that
to
this
fucking
was my
impress me.
bit. Wait, what bit did he say he already does? Oh, yeah, I
Don't
gave
say
up
anything.
on the bit. No, the one about the fourth world countries and the Senegalese.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
You won. You won.
You don't even
'cause
know.
I
It might
never...
suck. You might watch the bit. You don't like it. The point is, it's hard to know what's real if you just accept that the government is being honest, because they've been dishonest about so many things. And if you either want to believe the government 100% about everything and think they have your best interests at heart, which is, that's a good position. You want to live your life and have no worries, and hopefully everybody will work it out. Or you want to admit that money changes everything. Money influences the way people decide things. Power influences everything.
Hard to argue with that.
Hard to argue with the idea that power literally influences the way people, like, project the world onto other folks. Influences in terms of, like, people that are paying you for things, or influences in terms of, like, relationships you have with entities that have extreme power. You can't just assume that all the things you've been told are accurate, because they're just not. If you go back throughout history, like you go back and read Smedley Butler's
let me
War is Just a Racket.
Plug Lies My Teacher Told Me by Lowen.
Yes.
It's an old one, still holds up, and You Are Being Lied To, which is a compendium.
Disinformation.com. Yeah, disinfo.com. Yeah. That was a great book.
That changed my life.
Yeah, there's many things, but the problem is it's not all things, and we have to be, like, really non-attached to ideas. You have to realize that ideas are literally just ideas. They're not you. They're not me. If you believe that Roe versus Wade should be codified and it should be into law, and I go, hey, man, what about when a baby's 6 months old? What do you do? And these are discussions that don't have anything to do with us other than their ideas. I love you, and I think you're a good person, and I know I try very, very, very hard to be a good person. And I would hope that most people listening to this are also trying very hard to be good people. I think if we all come together on that notion, we're all going to be better off. But the problem is when you believe...
Hey, TMZ, ISO that and fucking put it out. Joe Rogan says something fucking normal, pragmatic, bringing people together, and you went to, he said the N-word when?
But listen, the whole idea about, like, the border. Look, I'm a fucking grandchild of immigrants. All of my grandparents came from Europe, all of them. I don't have anybody. I'm third generation, 100%. Grandfather.
Now he's talking white privilege again.
They all came over here, man. This is a nation of immigrants. If you're saying that you should stop immigration 100%, it's like, that's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. This is literally
I'm
a
holding
nation.
my hand up in class.
Go ahead, Mr. Stanhope.
What do they call it when you're a cultural appropriation?
Yes,
Weren't
cultural
we
appropriation.
taught at our age? You're almost as old as me.
Almost. I'm getting close.
Didn't they call that a melting pot
Yes.
as a positive? And now
That was a positive.
It's cultural appropriation if you wear a fucking sombrero at
Yeah.
fucking Cinco de Mayo.
Or if you're a white girl and you have hoop earrings.
What does that mean?
Latinas.
All
do.
right.
At a
'Cause
certain-
I knew
I
if
think
I-
they let that go. They let that go. Because they found out that in Babylonia, the fucking Babylonians had earrings like that, hoop earrings. It's
And
nobody's.
Well, that's where
Sumer.
I draw a line. If you're trying to be Babylonian, fuck you. You can't.
I'm gonna get a Babylonian tattoo. That's my next tattoo. I need more
I almost
tattoos.
got a tattoo last
You
night.
need one, sir.
That's how fucked up I was.
If I buy you a
that.
house, will you get a tattoo for the
I don't
the
need a
comedy
house.
mothership?
I need you to buy that
I mean,
guy's
out
house.
here in Austin.
Oh no,
need you to get
I
a-
almost moved out here.
I need you to move out here.
I'll,
Super
I'll,
important.
I'll be biracial or whatever you call it. Binational. I don't.
By states. You wouldn't even buy coastal. We're talking about like both places are center of the country. But you know, like at the end of the day, like it's this. We haven't in.
Isn't it the end of the day?
Yeah, it's 4:30.
I gotta piss.
Yeah, you got to go piss. Go piss. Wanna
No,
piss?
no.
We'll come back.
No, this is probably the only Joe Rogan podcast I've done where I didn't have to finally leave and piss.
I've had like 3 whiskeys and 4 cups of coffee, and it's 3 hours in. I'm good. I got an extraordinary bladder.
When I take a Seroquel, I told you I took a Seroquel, which I don't take and I don't recommend. But if you want to
What is
sleep
it?
for 14 hours, it's a heavy, psychotic, anti-anxiety downer. It's like lithium, whatever fucking Jack Nicholson was on in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It's like, okay, I have one night I can sleep like a fucking baby. And that's when I woke up, and everyone was at the one bar I walked into, just trying to find some breakfast. It's a hardcore downer. Mentally ill people are on this for the daytime, and I'm like, the first time bingo, my girlfriend's mentally ill, my wife, and the first time she gave me one, I slept for 24 hours. And people are given this to get through their day. It's a heavy antipsychotic.
Do you see the controversy where Elon said that more people that he knows have had better success with psychedelics than they had with SSRIs?
I said antipsychotic.
Yeah, but did you see that?
No,
It was really interesting because I think it's
What's
kinda
your guy from the
accurate.
Comedy Store? Clyde or Clive? Or,
Shh, whatever the fuck his name is, keep it on the DL. Don't give him up.
it's like,
What does he do?
What's your problem with Elon Musk?
Who says that?
I was talking shit
Oh,
about
some guy?
Elon Musk
You were?
last night. Yeah.
Okay. Why were you
He goes,
doing that?
what's your problem? I go, well, first of all, I have to hate him because Johnny Depp's my friend, and
Listen, if you met
But
him,
second-
you wouldn't hate him. If you met him,
I know-
you wouldn't
I know
hate
I
him.
wouldn't
But
hate him.
I love Johnny Depp, and I don't hate
I'm
him.
going there. Well, Johnny Depp has a problem with him personally.
I understand the problem.
Yeah, you know, like you're fucking high
I
school
get
kids.
it.
Oh, he fucked your girl.
I
I
get it.
hate that
I
guy.
get it.
I know it's simpleton thinking, but I am very vain. Probably because I have one of the most punchable heads I've
You don't
ever
have a
seen.
punchable head.
To me, I do.
I would not want to punch you.
No, I just hate my fucking head. So I hate other people like Jamie Kennedy or Sebastian Maniscalco.
He's got a good head.
They're like, I want
He's
to punch you
beautiful.
in the face.
Sebastian's beautiful. Just say it.
Gross. Like, there's other comics I hate because they're terrible. Chelsea Handler.
How dare you?
What? She's.
How
I
dare
watched
you?
a special just to
Why?
hate watch it, and
Why didn't you watch a documentary about butterflies? Something positive.
are you Alex Jonesing me? When I did Alex Jones's fucking thing, his podcast, before he was like over the top.
Do you want to do it
we
while you're out
all
here?
know.
Do you want to do it while you're out here?
No.
I'll set it up.
He's gone.
No.
When he started, when
He's
Alex
fine.
Jones started in Austin, we were more popular than him, and he did this cable access thing.
Yeah.
And then that guy Charlie is like, yeah, he's just being a cartoon. He's trying to sell tickets, and then he bought his own bullshit.
Well, he's right about enough things that it's very confusing. You know, Alex Jones was right about Epstein.
Spaghetti against the wall.
No.
One of those strips of spaghetti is right.
No. He's right about more than spaghetti against the wall.
That's why we know about Operation Northwoods. I'll give
No.
him that.
I knew about that beforehand, but or in that range. I read it online. But he told me about Bohemian Grove. He told me about Epstein's Island. When he told me about Epstein's Island, I was like, that is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Where a bunch of like really rich, influential people and politicians and world leaders go to fuck underage girls. I'm like, that's crazy. It's an island. That's crazy. And it turned out to be true. I was like, what? And he tells me people who told him about it and how he heard about it.
Jamie, remember my counterpoint is Joe Francis from Girls Gone Wild. Let's go.
Go ahead.
No.
You can't connect the two. Like, I know you.
Cut it and let me go.
If you hang out with Alex, you would understand. Like, Alex has problems. He's definitely had problems. He had a lot of alcoholism. But the problem with Alex is all day long he's investigating conspiracies and finding out how many of them are accurate, and it freaks him out. And he needs someone around him to balance things out, and he doesn't have that. And when he does have that, when Alex talks to people like you or me, if Alex is here on a podcast,
is this cut out?
No, this isn't. If we have a good time and Alex was like talking about stuff, you would know that he knows some stuff that is bizarre if true, and then turns out to be true. And then you go, what are you doing? Like, how are you? And you're like, all day I study these things. All day I investigate these things. And he does. He has a lot of like really weird, influential people who contact him about weird information about shit that turns out to be fucking accurate, man.
At what point are we responsible for misinformation?
That's a good question.
Because
That's a
people
very good
do
question.
believe in us. Like,
Here's what they need to believe.
I don't want to discount.
But you and I are just talking shit. We might be right. We might not be right. But we're not saying. Look, if you say, in order to be a comic, it takes a long time and a lot of work, and it's a lot of effort, and you got to go on the road. You got to experience different kind of crowds. That's accurate and comes from a place of experience. If you want to start talking about fucking Bohemian Grove, you've never been there. I've never been there. We don't know. We're talking shit. If you want to like take my word at talking shit, that's a problem. If you want to take my word, if we're just discussing something that we saw in the news, like what is happening, what's going on with Roe v. Wade, we don't even know. If that is the case and you want to base your worldview on that, that's not wise. And I would tell people, don't do that. But if you want to stop me from talking about all subjects that I'm not 100% informed on, well, that's not going to happen. So we're going to have to like come to some sort of an agreement here. And one of the agreements is like, I'm going to be honest with you. And if I know things, I'm going to tell you that I absolutely 100% know things. And if I don't, I go, did you hear this thing? What is this? If you want to say I shouldn't talk about this because I don't have a degree in that, or I don't know, or too many people are listening, that's nonsense. I'm not saying that I'm the fucking end all be all end of information here.
Cuckold is a word that I knew from porn. And then everyone adopted that word. As
I think
now on Twitter, you're just a cuckold. You don't even know what it means.
I'm going to piss all over this table if we don't stop this podcast right now.
I'm going. I'm
All
leaving.
right, we're going to pee. We'll come right back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to pee. Ha ha. First time Joe Rogan has to pee before me. Click.
We're back. The beautiful thing about what we went through when we did the Man Show was that it let you know that you can't do this with everybody. The average person is gonna like look at what we're trying to do and go, fuck that, that's terrible, that's awful, it's gonna be, but it's the same as podcasts. Like your podcast is very successful, so is mine.
No, it's not at all.
It's fine. The people that love it. The people that love it. You have a diehard group of people. Don't lie to me, motherfucker. I know you sell out comedy clubs all over the fucking countries. Like when you're doing shows, the people that love it, love it. Why do they love it? They love it because it's authentically you with no filter.
Yeah, but my podcast is not popular, which is fantastic. It's like, okay, if you're into me, all right, this is what backstage is like, and it's pretty boring. I'm not going out shooting fucking gophers and javelinas like you. My
You ever shot a gopher or a javelina? Fuck you talking
I
about?
thought you went shooting javelinas.
No, you were telling me about a
I've
javelina that killed.
specifically told you not to come to Bisbee because you would be so bored. Because my real off time is just sitting, drinking, and talking to someone.
Well, them javelinas killed your neighbor's dog. That's where that's this javelina.
That wasn't
talk.
even javelinas. Oh, that was javelinas. The dog was even more vicious. Anyway,
Really?
yeah,
The dog is more vicious.
the dog was
than that.
a dog that you're scared of, and I don't know the type.
And the javelinas killed a
Yeah.
scary dog.
Yeah, very scary dog.
Wow.
Giant wolf-like
A
fucking dog.
javelinas killed a wolf-like dog.
Yeah, well, it didn't have tusks.
Holy shit!
This is 15 years ago, so now I'm imagining it as a fucking
Werewolf.
But it was a scary dog. Anyway,
Anyway.
but you kill javelinas, haven't you?
No, never. Wild pigs a
I
couple
would-
times.
I would kill javelinas.
I killed a few wild pigs.
They're wild pigs, but they're not.
They're not. They're a peccary. It's a
Yes.
different animal.
Thank you for remembering that word, because every time. But they look like wild
Yeah,
pigs.
real similar. Similar looking.
They're blind and they knock over your fucking trash.
They're not blind. They just don't. Their eyes are not that good. Same as pigs. That's the thing they have in common with pigs. They operate on movement and smell. Yeah.
We have a friend, neighbor Dave, who's a neighbor, oddly enough. And he's a big fat guy.
What are you saying?
He got treed by javelinas. He used to run a route. That was his job.
Right.
He was running routes for Frito-Lay, going to Walmart and all the surrounding towns. And he would have to get up at 4 a.m. So he jumped up in the back of his pickup truck because javelinas had gotten inside his gate.
Holy
and
shit.
he got treed in the back of his...
Holy shit.
He's the fucking roly-poly man from the Eggman from Capitol Hill.
Dude, javelinas are fucking terrifying.
And he
They're
had to
such
sit there
creeps.
for like 4... He was late for work because he had to wait for them to leave.
Jesus.
Yeah.
They're the most callable animal. Like if you there's like animals that you can call in, like turkeys. You like bark, 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 and turkeys will come in and they think it's another turkey. The javelinas are the most callable animal because you call them in like you're dying. You make a screaming noise like bah! Bah! If javelinas think you're in pain, they come running in full clip.
This is a QAnon conspiracy.
There's videos of it. Javelinas react better than any animal that I've ever seen that reacts to a call. Like the calls that they used when they hunt javelinas, and javelinas are very edible, by the way. They're really delicious, apparently, if you cook them right.
We live in javelina territory, and we just had this conversation of people that kill javelina, and they go, ugh. it's
No,
gross."
my friends who know how to hunt, they've killed them and they've like prepared them properly. They said they're delicious. They said it tastes a lot like wild pigs. But the same thing people say about wild pigs. They're not good to eat, but they're very good to eat.
I want to shit on this taco place. I got so fucked. I didn't tell anyone in Austin I was here. And there's a very Austin taco place involved in my hotel.
Right.
So I got here 2 days early so Joe Rogan could finally tell me where the fuck I'm supposed to go.
He could have called me, ladies and gentlemen. He didn't text me. He used our friend Kerry. You didn't
Last
text me.
time I had
didn't
to
call me?
fucking go through Red Band.
You didn't.
Just tell me where
you could
the
just text
studio
me.
is.
Whenever you ever text me where I didn't text you back.
Because I know you're busy.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
Yeah,
It's-
you're
it's
fucking
in your head.
dealing with fucking TMZ or
It's in your head.
something.
I don't deal with anybody. It's in your
I
head.
know.
Anyway, tacos.
Tacos. Austin, thinks it's. I'm not gonna say the name of the place, but it's attached to my hotel. I got in late on Sunday. Today is Tuesday. I know we're doing the thing on Tuesday. I don't know if it's the podcast or the show.
I told you it was the show. You don't listen.
Yeah, it was the show, but I didn't know
But
about
the podcast and the
podcast.
show. I told you both.
Well, it wasn't in the text feed, so
We talked on the phone.
The point is, I don't want to bother you. You should have a Chaley or a Hennigan I can call
don't
the guy
want-
that's not bothered with fucking life. So
I'm gonna tell you what I said to Al Madrigal one time. Al Madrigal was talking to me about having an assistant. I go, just do less shit. If you need an assistant, do less shit. You don't want an assistant. You have some person in your life. It's like it's unmanageable. Like maybe I'm giving bad advice. Maybe he's better off with that. But for me, I don't want anybody like that's like giving me my schedule every day. I have no interest in that. I will do less things. Less things.
you're probably drunk less often than me, so I have to count
Even
on
if
a
I
guy.
was- even if
what
I
did
was
I
drunk
say
all
last
day.
night? What did I say?
Then-
Did I agree to do something
Still.
with you?
Yeah, still.
I forget my point.
Tonight, we're going to have a good fucking time.
Yeah, I know. I know. I know the chunk, because when I did Skank Fest, well, you're doing this show, that show, the other show, and they're like, I don't do
Right.
15 minutes like you don't.
Right. You do chunks. Every
So
bit
I
is 15
learned,
minutes.
okay, during Skank Fest, okay, this is whatever, 12, 15, 8 minutes, I don't know. But I know how it begins and ends, so that's what I'm doing tonight, is the bits that you tried to lead me into, and I went, I'll save that. I'm not going to burn material.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen. If you get this, it'll be too late.
Yep.
While you're listening is the next day, and we've already gone over
I
this.
think I've done 2 Texas tours where I have not purposely done Austin, which is in Texas my biggest draw.
Why have you
But
purposely not done Austin?
Because I'm waiting out of fucking respect for you to have a thing open, and you've had some
I appreciate that.
ups and
I
downs.
appreciate that very much. Well, it's not really been ups and downs. It was a little bit of a down, but honestly, the up that came after the down is way better. The place we have now is a way better location. It's a way better situation. We got an amazing architect. We got everybody here, and also like all the people that we hired had a chance to just relax for a year and just like chill out.
Financially, for me,
Yes.
like when I showed up here, still not knowing what we're doing after I asked you for details of where's and when's and what's, and I got fucking radio silence.
You didn't ask
All I
me.
know, hang on.
You asked an old phone. I guarantee you. I'll show you the phone.
Oh, do you
There's
want
nothing on my phone.
Do you want to lose a
These
bet?
are all 100%. These are all. See these texts right here?
Jamie.
Douglas. See these texts? They're all from me to you. All of them. The
I
last
asked-
one from
I
you to
asked-
me.
Where do I have to be when? And you said, fantastic, can't wait to see you, without giving me any
That's
fucking
accurate.
details.
That is accurate. But then,
And if you want to
but then
scroll
under
back
that-
to a year
No,
ago,
no. But then under that, I tell you when and where. And it's yesterday. I tell you yesterday.
That
when
was
you have to be
after
there.
I ate
No, I already give you
50
the time.
milligrams.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but I had given you the date and the time. I really had. It's just like you had forgotten. So I gave it to you again. It's all good.
no, I didn't
We
know.
call it.
I'm very happy. I just
I'm
want to
happy
be
you're here
right.
too.
I
Okay,
want to be
you're
right.
You're right. I suck. Roseanne
See?
Barr. That's my girl.
Okay, so
We're gonna see her tonight.
Ro-
I love her to death. Roseanne Barr, like I reached out to her like immediately after all that bullshit happened with her, and I said, listen, they don't know you, they don't understand what's happening. I go, if you want to come on my podcast and talk about it, and then people started showing up with fucking news organizations and shit outside of my
this
studio.
is another conversation we have to have off the air.
Okay.
Because that night, I was fancying myself a Ray Donovan. And I go, what you should do is Joe Rogan's podcast.
Oh, that's
Don't
hilarious.
say shit. I'll show you these texts.
That's hilarious.
Get everything.
Well, it's like my thing to her that I said to her, like when she first came on the show, I said, I think you're one of the greatest comics of all time. And I said, I know you. And also, I know what happened to you. And what people don't know about Roseanne Barr is that Roseanne Barr was hit by a car when she was 15, and she was put in a mental institution for 9 months. She had a severe brain injury. And so the benefits of her chaos were Roseanne, the television show, her HBO specials, her amazing stand-up, is this wild, creative, like unhinged person. But the reason for that was because of a traumatic brain injury. And like, I love her as a comic, and I love her as a person. I love her as like what she did for comedy. She's one of the best comics of all time. She's one of the best women comics that's ever lived. And one of the top 20 comedians that have ever lived, you put Roseanne in there because she was a monster in her prime. She was a monster. I remember seeing her first on
in
HBO.
In her prime,
Yeah.
she showed up in 2016. It's in that fucking No Encore for the Donkey. She showed up and did guest sets in Colorado Springs and Salt Lake City.
That's awesome.
And fucking destroyed. I don't know if you know Christine Levine, one of my favorite comedians. She's like most of my friends, fucked, but best comic. And I was hosting. I was doing a tour where I was hosting because I was trying to work out right after a special came out. All right, why don't I host, bring 2 headliner
Good move.
comics.
Yeah.
And I can do 15, 15, 15.
Yeah.
So you get enough of me
Right.
that you paid for.
Great idea.
So she happened to be in Colorado and Salt Lake, where she's from Salt Lake, but she grew up in Denver. So she showed up twice. Christine Levine is a woman of a proportionate size and very Roseanne Barr-like. So I would introduce her saying, a lot of people call her the next Roseanne Barr, and I would bring her up to do 10 to 15.
Right.
Then I go, we have a special guest who's a local act, and we can all take a little bit of time to support a local act that's from here. They call her the next Roseanne Barr. Here's Roseanne Barr. And she'd come up with a baseball hat, and it would take like 10 seconds for people to go, oh, fuck, that is Roseanne Barr.
Wow.
And crush. And so now she's just signed on to do some Fox has like a Paramount Plus or a whatever plus, a streaming service I'll never figure out. But she's like, hey, I just signed a thing to do this in September, and I need help from working on a new act. And I talked to her for, like you and Attell, over an hour. If you're going to...
Is this recently?
Yeah.
So she has a new deal? They fucked up
Yeah.
so hard when they canceled her, when they got rid of her off that show and that show went away.
She canceled herself. You don't get canceled as a comic. We're
Well,
fucking
no,
breathing
no,
life
no,
into this bullshit.
Douglas, they fired her from her own television show. They 100% canceled her. They fired her from her own show.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry. I thought we were talking about stand-up comedians.
I'm talking about Roseanne, like when she did her
The
show.
day after Louis C.K. got canceled, he could have sold out 5 times as many people
Right.
across the street from
That's
me.
true. That's true. But that's Louis doing live stand-up, and he wanted to take a break. But Roseanne got fired from her own show, and then they tried to do the show without her, and it was a giant mistake. It was just like let
She
the lady.
should have been fucking canceled from her own show. She's crazy out of her tits. And this is something we'll talk about off the air.
But isn't that like what made her show amazing in the early days when she had Roseanne, the original
Not when
show?
she's fucking texting me that people from Saturn are invading our country. Like the fucking guy, she sent me text messages at the same time as Dima from the Ukraine was saying, you must tell people about this. She was texting me, we need to let people know that people from Saturn, and I go, I don't care about immigrants as long as they pay the cover charge.
She just needs a platform. If Roseanne wants to talk about Saturn people, come sit with me. I'll talk to her about people from Saturn. We're going to be okay.
she's fine. Alex Jones is fine. You're fine.
What about you?
I feel pretty good.
Douglas.
Let's get the fuck out
Let's
of
get the
here and
fuck
go
outta
do
here.
a show.
We nailed this show. This was a good one. This was you and me, like legit. This like felt like normal.
I don't know what happened last time, but
it was a long time, man. There's a fucking pandemic. There's a lot of shit.
I cried when I left here because you
Really?
fucking walked off the fucking thing and then wouldn't even say goodbye to me.
No, that's not
And
true.
then-
I hugged you. Listen, you talked to me about it afterwards, and I tried to console you. I go, dude, it was fine. It was fun. It was just awkward. Like when things are awkward, sometimes people look. We were all going through some weird shit.
It was the first time I had left the house after 18 months.
It was fucking weird. It was hard to get loose. This show, we came in, we got loose, and it was normal. It felt like 100% like you and me together. But it's okay. It's like that. That's good for everybody to see. Like, this is life. Life is fucking. I didn't know what the fuck
There's
today was going to be
so many
like.
people in Bisbee where I live in a town of 5,000 people away. They don't even know what stand-up comedy is. They don't know Sebastian Maniscalco or fuck. I said, if I went up and down my neighborhood and knocked on doors going, do you know who Louis C.K. or Dave Chappelle are? They would go, why are you at my door?
Right.
They don't know. But even my UPS man, right before I left to come out and do this, hey, I listened to you on Rogan. I'm going back there, but I don't know for what.
Let's just delete the old one. Let's delete the last one.
No.
I'll call Spotify right now.
I would
I'll
never
tell them you
watch
say the
it.
N word. We'll delete it.
Two podcasts with you. Even in my book about 2016, I wrote I could not watch that End of the World podcast because I was so fucked.
Doug, I don't watch any of my podcasts.
No, I don't either.
But that's good. It's good. Just keep moving.
But this was for the book, and I knew it would be so hard for me to watch. That's where I think my wife might die, but I'm not going to cancel End of the World Trump election podcast because I put it together and I called you and I go, before Bingo was in a coma, I called you. I go, I don't think, and you go, no, fuck that. We have to do this.
Yeah, you had to keep doing it.
And then I thought, if I said, oh, wait, now my wife's in a coma, he's going to act like that's the dog ate my homework excuse.
That's not what I thought. I just wanted you to have something that would distract you from something you couldn't control. And I felt like at least if you could get out and do something, we would hang out together. Like, you can't control how she recovers. And thank God she recovered. But you can't control that. And we were in a situation where you had an opportunity to do this thing. And I was like, let's just do this thing. It's like, if you don't want to do it, I understand. But I
it
think
was
it would be
brilliant,
good.
but
It was
not
okay.
because of me. You and Bill Burr carried that.
Well, I had to leave because I did a set in the OR, and I found out that Sarah Tiana and Bill Burr got in a tremendous argument. And I wish that I had the courage to go back and listen to the podcast and find that.
I can't.
That's the only thing I wanted to see.
I wrote that in the book. I will tell you everything, but I will not watch that because I would hate myself so much. But I know what I was under duress and fucking
you were, but it was okay.
freaked out.
It was fun. Even the fact that Hannigan kept bringing people on the stage, like, why is there 8 people on the stage?
I remember you.
It was all fun.
Like, why is it? I go. We should have more diversity on this.
Yeah, that's what he said. I go, get the fuck out of here, Hollywood boy. I kicked him into the backstage. I remember Marilyn Manson called you on the phone. I go, hang up on him. I go, he's right back there. He could walk right through the fucking stage.
He would not come on stage.
He was supposed to come on stage. I go, come on, hang up on him. Because he was calling you. I was like, hang up.
The fuck, that dirt. Marilyn
I wanted
Manson
him to be out there
is
with us.
so fucking beautiful. He's the most gentle person. And what happened that night before we even got to End of the World is in the book. And I've not been sued yet.
What book is this?
No Encore for the Donkey.
Is that available on Amazon?
No. It was an Audible exclusive.
Oh.
But now the hard copy's coming out. I told Brian Hennigan, I said, if this is not out in hard copy by the time I do Rogan, you're fired.
Whoa. How is Hannigan still around after the End of the World podcast? You should have told him to, you got to seek your own path, sir. Good luck.
We're a family.
Give him a sprig of sage and send him into the woods.
No. He's here in town.
Is he coming tonight? Please tell him.
Probably.
Please tell him to come tonight. I love him. I'm just joking around.
But if it's not out, and now it's my fault, because I have to just fix 2 sentences in the introduction of the physical copy, because it's only been out on Audible for fucking a year and a half. Now, well, just write a short introduction.
Just write a short introduction, lad.
It's almost as hard as writing your own bio.
Yeah, writing your own bio is gross.
Oh my God, it's fucking
gross.
disgusting.
Doug Stanhope
let's get
has
out of
been
here.
thrilling and entertaining clubs and colleges across the United States.
He appeals to both the.
He is an iconoclast and
He says what we're all thinking, but we're afraid to say.
I love those guys. Douglas, me boy. I just want to say, fuck Bisbee.
All right.
That's it.
It's like every place gets weird.
Every fucking place on earth. You live in the fucking middle of the desert. People will find you. Nice
212 Van Dyke Street.
Hey!
Bisbee, Arizona.
Edit that out.
No,
Edit
you
that
don't
out.
have to-
They come to you.
No, if you Google Jamie, Google search Doug Stanhope's address.
Listen, the problem is not Google searching. The problem is 11 million people listening to you say your address. Don't do that to yourself.
Oh, your ratings have
Schizophrenics.
dropped? I thought it was
Schizophrenics.
30.
It might be 80. Schizophrenics. They'll come for you. You don't want that.
Maybe I'll have to do that bit. That's a bit I can only do on stage because I can't do it on a podcast.
Douglas, me boy. This podcast is.
Get me out
How
of
many
here.
hours long is this? Jamie. It's a
You
lot.
pissed first.
I did piss first. VulcanATX.com. That's where we're at tonight. Doug Stanhope, I love you to death. I'm glad we went through this together, all of it, including the last podcast, and then this one, which is perfect. The last one was good.
I
Gotta take a loss sometimes. Gotta feel bad.
I cried after that last podcast.
You gotta feel bad.
Literally.
I've had bad
I sent
ones.
you a video. I left here so dejected because you wouldn't talk to me
That's
after
not
the
true.
podcast.
That's not true.
Well, that's
No.
how I remember it.
No.
Truth is how you remember
Douglas, no, Douglas.
But I sent
that's
you a
not
video.
True. I hugged you. I said goodbye. You left. My fucking security guard picked you up on the road. and
That's
you
what I
didn't
was getting
recognize-
to.
Yeah, you
I
forgot.
thought
yeah.
a fan.
I know.
It was my first time
You were
leaving
a
the
little
house
fucked up.
after 18 months,
But
and
you
I drove
can't
out here.
say that I didn't say goodbye to you. That's not true. It's not
Well,
true.
but
You
that
were
might
just
not be true.
You were frustrated at the awkwardness of the last podcast. That's all it was.
I'm just getting to the point where I'm walking. It's like 3 blocks from a hotel, and a guy pulled up, goes, "Hey, Stanhope," and I thought it's a random fan.
Yeah, you'd met him
that is
a couple hours earlier.
Well, I was walking home all like I
Right.
might as well have a stick and
a
a
sack.
fucking like I'm humbling my way off like Tom.
Yeah, my security guy calls me. He says, I don't think he's doing so good.
It's on video. If you want to put that video,
No, I don't want
on
people
this.
to see my fucking security guy's face.
Oh,
They look for him. Google search.
your security guy. You had like 9 of them.
You gotta have a few.
They're all fucking Navy SEAL Team 6.
Well, it's good to have.
Yeah.
Strong men to protect you from Doug Stanhope's whims.
But I was so dejected, like I fucked up the last
But you
podcast.
didn't, Doug. Doug,
Okay,
you
but
didn't.
the point is, for the listeners, I'm walking home. It's 3 blocks to the closest hotel that I found.
Right.
And I'm walking through this industrial field of fucking blank things, and someone yells, "Stanhope!" and I think it's a fan. And I was so out of my sorts. I go, yes, I will take a random ride from a fan. I thought it was a fan. And then I started filming it. Mm-hmm. And then I realized, oh, this is not a fan. This is one of your fucking security
I think
people.
he kind of had to explain that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was fucked.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't just jump into people's cars.
Yeah.
If there's any message we can get out today that can help everyone, don't jump into people's cars.
I'm sorry if I'm promoting the time that it went well that I jumped into someone's car.
Me, boy. Let's wrap this up.
Get me out of here.
Instagram, please give him back his fucking account. I love you, Instagram. I know you're fucking censoring people and shadow banning.
Wasn't even. I never said anything on there. Brian Hennigan just put up random tweets.
He's a terrible person. He's a terrible person. Look who he's done to you.
If you reinstate my Instagram, take credit. So it's not all these other people that say, I did it myself.
Right. I think we can make that happen. But shout out to all the people that are out there managing social media, trying to deal with all the fucking armies of people putting content up 24/7. I can't imagine managing at scale. Douglas, survivor of COVID, great stand-up comedian, friend of mine for life. Tonight, we're going to have some fun. That's it. Goodbye, everybody. God bless. Hare Krishna.
Take us out, Big Go. Okay, bye-bye now.